how these things work.
Okay, so we live episode number 27.
Ah!
So we have broken the 26 barrier. We are now in the neighborhood of UBW or something.
If we're in UBW, do we get to meet Castor?
I mean, do you think it's a good idea for Penelope to meet Medea?
I mean, they both have really cool ears.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get on her good side, you're fine. Just
Yeah.
just never give her a reason to distrust you.
Exactly.
But hey, yeah, we're here, number 27. The more bare bones recap of just the last session because I gave a much longer leg of the campaign long one in the last episode. While you were investigating what happened, you managed to corner who was turned out to be was at least partially responsible. Jimmy, the drunk guy, in one of the private rooms directly under the vaults containing the actual prizes, and through a bit of a running hustle, you chased him in his quite invisible state and cornered him on the spiral staircase after he put some of your allies to sleep. Um, you managed to hold him still long enough for his invisibility to run out, and then Anise locked him with a hold person spell, and thus he was captured. You noted that he couldn't actually it seemed like he was trying to avoid hurting you, and following an investigation of the actual room before, when it turned out he didn't actually have the arrow key on him, you determined that he could probably have ripped a hole in you if he really wanted to, because it looks like he's in fact a dragon who ripped a hole in the ceiling. So the fact that a halfling was able to block the staircase, not just any halfling, a temporarily drunk halfling was able to block the staircase, uh, is telling that he wasn't really trying to overpower you, just trying to get around you. But he was apprehended, taken away by the church people. You went back downstairs and questioned the church guy who was present with the two mercenaries, and a few clues came together that led you to suspect Lucretia was probably involved in some shenanigans. So you went back and got the rest of your allies. You checked the room in question where Jimmy had spent half an hour before busting upstairs and taking the bone, the jawbone of a beast of burden. And then you, following that, decided to go find out where she went. So, using Nora's locate object spell for the arrow coin, you determined that it was probably down the hole. So, you jumped down the hole, got dropped into the sand, and then you walked up to the maze again because it was pointing towards the maze. Before going in, your friend Katherine pulled out one of her hidden Roombas that she was going to sneak into the security room so that she could pull up a map of what exactly the maze looks like, so you don't have to stumble around as a bat for a change. And when she pulled up the Roomba that was spying up there, she followed Sister Sylvia into a secondary room that you've not seen before, the one that's directly above the green room, and determined that they were in fact had tied, bound, gagged, and pretty much prevented much of anything from Jimmy, save his ability to maybe answer questions. You identified the spell that he was trapped under to be a spell to force him to tell the truth, but due to the limitations of the Roomba, you couldn't tell what they were asking him. All you could tell was they didn't like the answer they were getting. He tried to swell up to something a little bit bigger. He got smacked. He didn't. And then, annoyed and frustrated with that, Sylvia popped the bag back over his head, walked out of the room, went back to the security room. The bot went invisible and followed her in. And then it perched over the shoulder of one of the church guys sitting at a computer. Watching over that guy's shoulder, you determined that that guy's probably in on something because he seems to be vastly more computer capable than he's letting on. And also, he's showing a fake version of the map, or at least an earlier version, one that was not destroyed. A map of the maze. An earlier version of the maze that before the bomb went off. So he's up to something, but you can use his fake version to get through, although now a few of the threads are coming together because you did suspect there was someone on the inside leaking information out. You still got a lot of questions. You don't understand the motive for why this is happening. You don't understand how exactly the mercenaries apparently got mind whammied. You don't know what Lucretia's up to, if it is in fact her. You don't know why the dragon stole a bone. What the entire point of all of this was to get the arrow coin, because that doesn't really mesh, since presumably she could have literally just asked for it or bought it off of one of you. You made it abundantly clear that that was available as like an option to anyone, that you weren't here to hoard things, and you were working really hard to get everyone what they were looking for. And you did get her what she said she wanted, so there's a few loose ends. We're also running up on a little after 4 in the morning, so there's less than an hour till the event wraps up. And when we stopped playing, you decided you were going to venture into the maze to presumably find whoever has the coin and figure out what the hell's going on.
Woo.
I think that hits the high notes. It is of note that both of you are very low on spells at this point. You're also pretty tired because you've been going at this for a long time. You're not in like mechanical exhaustion territory yet, but it's been a very long night following a relatively long day, following a very eventful night. So Paris has been pretty rough on you the last like 36 hours.
How rude, Paris.
Yeah. Although I think Penelope at least got a nap. So.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. She did get a nap before.
Yeah, she got a nap, whereas Anise went to a Chinese restaurant and stumbled upon a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, Anise is probably kind of tired. Anise admittedly also did not get the most restful sleep the night before. So, you know, all that happened.
She's been drinking coffee all night.
Oh God.
She's running on it, yeah.
It's just gonna vibrate through the ceiling. Well, there's no ceiling to vibrate through anymore, so
You did it.
it can vibrate through the hole in the floor.
When she gets back to the hotel, she's gonna fall asleep before she's actually on the bed. She's gonna be like, "Oh, there's the bed."
Just.
I mean, technically she got like a minute of sleep when she fell through the floor. That's something.
That's something.
Instantly refreshed.
Of course. That would be so much better of a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like, can you imagine if sleep actually just gave you the benefit of a rest?
that would be so nice.
Like, there's a spell that gives you the benefit of a short rest, and it's a really high-level spell because it's such a broken power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Crazy. You just get that on your warlock and never run out of spell slots.
It's like end of the campaign stuff.
Yeah. It's insane. But yeah, so you're down here. So I guess we're ready to go if you're ready. I believe the last thing that you did, other than watching the stuff going on Catherine's tablet, was decide that everybody get a buddy and you're going to walk in line and Nora's going to lead you through this maze.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Boop, boop, boop. Catherine will take up the back.
Woohoo!
And as soon as
Everybody
Nora
roll.
steps inside, Nora says, "Right, so I still can't see." And then Catherine will move to the front because she's the one with the map.
I'm stuck in the. Oh, no. Never mind.
You on one of those half squares again?
I was.
It'll do it.
Don't leave me outside, guys.
Okay, so we're going to just have them walk through a square at a time. And we will make sure. So everyone can see, right? I know that we were having some camera stuff last time.
I can see.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Burp. Boop. RPG walking. We're doing it. Earthbound walk. Don't get too excited there, Catherine. Chill out. Right, so let's see, is this right? This is the direction you're pointing in. There's a wall. Well, that's the direction, I think. A little bit to the right, I guess. All right, so looking at the maze here. Hold on, just stay right there for a second. All right, is it this way? All right, come toward my voice. Carefully. Hold on. Now come toward my voice. It says it's... Oh, no, I went too far. It's to the right. Okay. Up here. Right.
Ooh.
Here we go. It seems it's to the right. Okay. This way. And I guess down here. And you're just like, this is a bit time consuming because like you can't see, but you are getting directions at least. Oh, now it's to my left or my right again. I don't know. My right, stage right. Nora right.
Nora.
Okay, well that's problematic because we have to go all the way back now. It's a maze. Right. Do. We're gonna fast forward a little bit. Stumble. Because this is a challenging game. Because you can't ever touch the wall. But at least you know where you're going, maybe. I get to move 2 NPCs. Don't you dare scroll the map. We are walking. Oh, she can't go down because that's still hidden. Right, that makes way more sense. All right, I should have cleared that after all. Boop, boop, boo, doo, 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 doo. Reveal. You know what? Reveal. Blah. Blah. This is dumb. You're all revealed now. Enjoy. All right, you're up, boss lady. Burp, burp. All right, it looks like we're apparently supposed to go straight up from here. Or I guess forward, because, you know, I don't exist in an overhead view. That would be a strange thing for me to be. Okay. So moving up like you just did. Anise is doing that first, so I will let Anise be the first one to bump into something.
I was mostly just checking to make sure, like...
That you could move?
I don't think Anise would have gone ahead.
Okay, gotcha. Not that this is like a trap or anything, I just saw you moving, so I wanted to make sure if you wanted to, you could go first.
Mm-hmm. No, in this situation, I don't think she would.
Oh, I think I bumped into something up here.
What'd you find?
Let's see. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to be so forward. How good of you to join me. Well, you came this way. You might as well join me in the dining room. And then she steps to the right and touches the wall and disappears.
But it's completely dark, so we didn't see any of that.
You did not. She's actually telling you out loud, you can just follow me this way. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Very well. And then she snaps her fingers, and there's light now. You can actually see.
Oh, ooh, oh. I guess we follow.
In fact, since she snapped her fingers, there you go. Full map. There's light now. All right, so she steps into the wall up here to the right and disappears. Are you following?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
We're all standing on her shoulders.
Yeah, that's fine. So, stepping into that wall. Finally get to do something that we haven't done in forever.
Oh boy.
I get to share a new map with you.
What? A new map?
How could this have happened?
Oh no, where did I go?
I'm about to share the new map with you. But the screen's going to go black at first. Because that's how it works. And...
TPK.
Oh no!
Wah, wah.
That would be the worst. Nobody signed on for this.
This wasn't in my contract.
Okay.
There's just like a tacked on addition to the contract for tonight that's just like, you will get teleported to a completely different place. Maybe a TPK. I don't know.
Perhaps. All right. And... boop. New map. Who dis?
Ah! Oh my god. Where are we?
Welcome to the dining room. It's a bit more peaceful than the food upstairs. She's going to walk around and she's going to go have a seat.
Anise is just stunned speechless.
Both of you give me a perception check.
Yep. Where the hell is my perception? There it is.
Sorry.
Aren't you glad you're not drunk anymore?
What now?
Penelope, aren't you glad you're not drunk anymore?
Oh, yeah. That would suck. Oof.
Okay. So both of you are going to tell some baseline stuff about this room. So for starters, this room is well furnished. Obviously, like, you can see a table in front of you with food on it. It actually looks like it's an assortment of breakfast food at this point, which kind of makes sense because it's almost breakfast time.
Yeah.
There are 8 seats around it, which is more than you presumably would need. Lucretia walks over and sits at the far end, but absolutely Lupin is sitting off just to the left side of her, and Lupin is currently enjoying a big old waffle. Seems pretty happy with himself. It's covered in strawberries and whipped cream. The room itself has 4 giant windows, like 2 on each side. And looking outside the windows, it's unlike upstairs where you could tell from an illusion that it was like pretending to be daytime. Looking out these windows, it looks more like actual nighttime. Like it's darker, you can sort of see some stars. It's neat. There's a fireplace in the back, like there's a little fire burning in it. a very light cackling. Like it's cute. It's rustic. In general, this room seems pretty relaxed. If I'd thought a little further ahead on it, I might have turned on a flickering effect for the candle just to show you that this is really subdued. This isn't like artificial lighting. It's way more homey. It kind of reminds you a little bit of back when you were in Germany and just the quaintness of Echo's room. It's not nearly as over the top as the upstairs stuff. With Penelope's role, Penelope notices a few more details about this room. So for starters, looking out the windows, you can actually see that it doesn't look like Paris outside. Like, it's not Paris, but it's also, you don't really know what it looks like. It's kind of strange because, like, out the windows to your right, it looks like a really pretty landscape. You can see just under the starlight and the moonlight a lot of plants. There are trees, a lot of grass. You can actually see a bit of what it kind of reminds you of the most is when you would go between cities while you were traveling when you were younger. Like, more the nature of Europe. Not quite like when you were in Germany and it was, you know, all mountainous. This is more plains. This is more fields. But it's very pretty. And conversely, when you look out the left ones, you have a similar landscape, but outside the windows to your left, or the down from, you know, the map view, it's way more barren. Like, the colors are more muted. It's a little closer to browns and grays rather than more vibrant greens. Like, there are less stars in the sky. It's generally a more bleak view of the same landscape, and you can actually make out in the distance like little bits of the more modern world. Like, you get a power line like running through closer to the horizon. You can see more remnants of humanity. You think you see maybe an actual paved road and a rundown car in the very distant area. Like, you're only seeing so far from this angle, but you're getting two very different pictures of the outside world through these windows.
Right.
But yeah, so they've sat down in front of you with some food and a nice warm fire. Please, by all means, sit down. You've had a night.
Penelope's gonna go. Well, apparently she's not gonna go.
Oh, it's new map. Hold on.
I got it now.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
She's gonna walk around to this seat here and sit down and just be like, so where exactly are we right now?
Are you gonna do anything, Anise?
She had to step away for a second.
Gotcha. Well, the others are gonna start sitting down too. So,
okay.
Catherine, being Catherine, is gonna sit
Hold
on the other end.
I'm gonna move Anise.
Okay.
Oh, she just.
Now, I can move her if she's just sitting down. It's not a problem. Oh, you got her.
Boom. She put her butt next to me.
That sounds right. Boop. Yeah.
But yeah, where are we exactly?
We're in the private dining room. It's kind of an elite club, as you can tell by our host. And Lupin puts down his waffle for a second. Oh, good. Wonderful to see all of you here. It's always nice to have a surprise or two. But no one quite expected this.
I mean, surprise is an understatement.
Oh, we're all full of surprises tonight, aren't we, Lucretia? And you can very easily pick up a bit of sass in that.
What's going on? What the hell is all of this?
I'm going to hold off until Anise is back just because
Yeah.
exposition.
Yeah. I'm gonna start fidgeting with stuff on the table.
Understandable. As a fun meta note, because I have to put Merlin somewhere in every map for the camera to see, Merlin
Yeah.
is currently stuffed in the fireplace.
Where he belongs.
I thought you'd appreciate that. Like, he's
Take that,
invisible, but he's stuffed in the fireplace.
Ah.
You can keep going.
Ruby said that we could keep going.
Okay.
There was a minor medical necessity.
Got it. Okay, well, when she gets here, if I need to recap anything, it's totally fair.
No, I could hear where I was.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Good.
All right, then. Yeah, I suppose you are due for a bit of an explanation, so... How's about this? You certainly earned it through conversation. Ask away. I'll try to answer as many of your questions as I can. We obviously have a little bit of time before we have to get back upstairs, and our host will be giving out his prizes.
Well, I'm going to repeat my question from earlier of what the fuck.
You're going to have to be more specific about that.
Okay.
Miss Master Lupin, are you actually Lupin?
Of course I am. I'm
Or-
Arsène Lupin the 7th.
Lucretia, are you Lupin?
No.
Are you a Lupin?
No, I'm not a Lupin. I've simply known a few of them. More of a family friend, really.
So,
Well, there goes my hypothesis.
so who? Do you have the arrow coin?
I do. I
Okay.
picked it up off of the floor next to your sleeping friends.
Insight check. She's
Insight
totally
check.
lying.
Go for it.
Insight check. Insight check.
Nice.
Good.
Anise, you're not really sure. She's so even keel that you can never really get a sense of what her deal is. Penelope, she seems to be telling you factually what happened. She's not giving away any hints as to the conditions surrounding that, but she's telling you factually what happened.
Were you behind? Well, okay, no, hold on. Were you behind what happened in at the end of the concert?
In a roundabout way, but that wasn't really going according to plan. Sure, I'll give you a little bit of information on that. So, as I'm sure you're aware, Mage Society is a shit show.
Well, yeah.
And going into this event, I needed to make sure that I had I did what I could do to get what I came here to get, which meant putting in place a few contingencies should things go badly. Now, I could think of any number of scenarios where there would be problems. I imagined the church stepping in and disrupting things and breaking their deal with our host. I imagined any number of mages using, well, and she sort of stares at Penelope, suggestions of a sort.
You know what?
I imagine
I have other questions for you on top of that, but continue.
I imagined so many scenarios, and so the failsafe was that I would make sure that if things were going poorly over the course of the night, that I would get an opportunity to, completely within the rules, she says directly at Lupin, temporarily incapacitate people in a safe way so that I could recover what would have been mine. Now, the one scenario I never could have predicted in 1,000 years is that there would be mages here who would cooperate and help everyone get what they wanted.
Yeah, we're kind of tricky like that.
It's unfathomable. I've been interacting with mages for a very long time, and I have never, ever seen the level of cooperation that this evening required. You had opportunities to walk away with a great many powerful artifacts, even if you didn't know what they were, and you instead set out to reunite all of them with their proper owners. That's beyond comprehension. So no, I wasn't prepared for that. Also, and this I should have been prepared for, but I didn't think it through. This is on me. She puts her hands up like, my bad. You can't rely on a drunk dragon to modify the plan when things are going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
So the necklace is not what you were actually after.
Oh, my bracelet?
Yes.
That was why I'm here. That was completely true. 99% true. It's not my grandmother's, it's mine. But that was why I was here. That is my item. It was taken by this fellow. Again, glare at Lupin. But that doesn't mean there weren't more things that were of interest to me. As you could tell before, there were many items that were not promised to anyone here. Either their owners did not make it, or someone decided to sweeten the pot. Regardless, I was certainly interested in more things. There are events in motion, and some of the things here are very important to them. But I wasn't lying to you when I said why I was here. Now, this, and she actually holds up the arrow coin in front of you. This is important. And had a drunk dragon not jumped the gun, we could have, after the concert, negotiated a bit to sort this out properly. A number of things actually went awry as a result of that. You know what? You've earned it. You've been straight with me. I'll just tell you. So my original plan involved maneuvering the mercenaries into position. I actually got them hired via an intermediary who did require an item. I just nudged them a little bit to pick these people because they have a reputation for blowing things up. So if anyone would bring something of a variable into the equation, it would be them.
Can't imagine why you that.
They've got quite a reputation amongst themselves. But the thing is, they legitimately were hired to come in and retrieve an item. And prior to their arrival, I simply gave them a very basic suggestion for what they would need to do, should it be necessary. I did not override their minds in any way while here. I simply triggered a suggestion that was already there before I arrived. Fun little loophole there, Lupin. Didn't do it within your walls, didn't do it within your event. Simply set it off later. However, I'd meant to cancel the suggestion once you retrieved my item for me. But a few things got out of hand when the dragon got lost. And then the dragon set things off prematurely because the dragon is a drunken fool. Now, to credit, the drunken fool covered his tracks well enough, but once he took a coin, You had a means of tracking him, and you did. And then he panicked further, and he, like any drunken fool, made things worse over and over again. I was content to wait the evening out and let him be caught for being an idiot. But then he managed to really up the stakes a bit, to the point where I can no longer leave things where they are. So when I went to check in on the situation, I thought I would perhaps retire to a private room and just wait out the last few hours to the best of my ability. And I discover in the hallway a few of your friends and a bird sleeping, and a coin glimmering near their feet. Seems the dragon dropped that on his way, so I picked it up. Now, as I said, this coin's important. It is of significant value for an upcoming event that I feel you've learned a bit about on your own, but I would be happy to answer further questions about, because I feel, again, you've earned that. But to finish this story, I picked that up, and then I came down here, because if there's anywhere that I can safely wait things out, it's in this room.
Where exactly is this? Is it under the basement?
I believe that's a question for you, sir. Oh, good, yes. So, this room in particular is actually located roughly down and to the right, so to speak, from the sunken boat. There's an entire level under the maze. It's just more private. Though those windows were entirely to her specifications. She decided to be dramatic, and I decided to honor it. Indeed. They're helpful visual aids for the stories to come.
So, what do you need the arrow and the bone for?
Well, the bone, to be clear, it's very important. It's an important relic as well, but that's literally just the luck of the draw for which room he dug into. Personally, I think it would have been funny if he'd been one room over and he'd got a giant dinosaur skull.
Oh no.
That would have been funny.
I want you to know, meta, I really wanted that to happen, and it was off by 1, because I did this legitimately and fairly at randomness, and it was off by 1.
Oh,
I
no.
really wanted him to end up in a room with a giant dinosaur head. But no, he got the bone room instead, so oh well. But yes, that bone is of some significance. I suspect that bone is actually why the church is probably interrogating him right now. It's something that matters more to them than to me. It's one of those, what do they call them? They're relics, they're sacraments, I believe is what they call them. A holy item of sorts.
Huh.
They care a lot about those. It's part of how their magecraft works. Not that they'd call it magecraft, but it's what it is. Whereas the arrow is something of greater significance for someone who may or may not be participating in an event requiring a heroic spirit.
Are you talking about
A Holy Grail wall?
The Fuyuki Holy Grail War, yes. In fact...
Okay, so...
Go ahead.
We do know a bit about it. They only happen supposedly every, 50 years, I think he said? But
yeah.
There was one very recently, like last year.
Yes.
I mean...
There's a lot going on there. I suspect you'd like to know a bit more about that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would also like to know a bit about that. Nora is like leaning a lot more further in on the table, although you also notice that she's ever so slowly like slipping her hand to the side and taking like a stick of bacon.
We actually had plans to go to Fuyuki to check out the ley lines and whatnot. weird things going on over there. But we came here first.
It's probably good that you did. It's a rough place to be right now, especially for our kind.
Yeah.
The air is thin, so to speak.
Yeah. All the mana's just draining out through the ley lines, supposedly.
Yes, I've actually been there recently. It's part of what led me here. So, I think we're at a decent point to put cards on the table. So, I'm going to ask you a question, and then I will respond with what my situation is based on your answer.
All right.
So
Anise is definitely like eating bread or something.
Yeah, totally. Like at this point, Katherine is just casually like scarfing down on like some breakfast sausages, and Nora is trying to look really, really stern. But if you look at her hands, she's actually wrapping the stick of bacon into a little spiral. Like one of her hands is twisting the other, and it's just sort of turned into this weird corkscrew of bacon. Like everyone is hungry, but she's trying really hard to look like she's 100% focused on the moment and failing.
Anise has some English muffins.
Excellent.
Penelope's just kind of fidgeting with the edge of the table. She's not even trying to look at the food.
That's fair. So, I'm assuming at least one of the four of you, presumably the two of you since you seem to be most interested in this, may be considering participation in this war. The next one, whenever it is.
Well, the thought had crossed my mind, but...
Assuming you did, and you were to win, you know the prize is a wish. What would you wish for?
Why should I tell you?
Because I'll tell you what I would wish for. And I'll give you a lot more information about this war that might explain to you why it even matters.
Fair point. I would wish for a return to back when phantasmals weren't on the edges of society and mana was more plentiful and there was more nature and less technology.
That is truly a noble wish.
Maybe less.
And you can actually see a smile on her face when she hears that. If you look to the other side, you can see a bit of a smile on Nora's face too. Catherine looks a little bit like, what?
I was about to say, Anise definitely like glances over at Nora for approval.
Yeah, Nora seems to be taking this fondly, but she's not going like all in with it. She's just like, that checks out. Catherine just like, what? Penelope is free to react as Penelope feels the need.
Penelope is just kind of sitting there like wide-eyed, like, shit. Like looking back and forth between like everybody, like,
And you? She's turning to Penelope.
I mean, I don't necessarily know for sure, but like, I definitely want it to be safer for phantasmals to exist in this world. I don't know that I'd necessarily get rid of technology because, like, it can be helpful.
I said less
for like
technology, not new technology.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I just wish it were safer for everybody to kind of exist.
Seems to be a shared goal amongst many of us. Well, as you can see looking out these windows, and she gestures to the left, or her left, which is the north window, there's definitely a world out there where humanity hasn't overtaken things to such an extent that the world itself is in jeopardy. This is the world of Gaia, the world of true magic, the world of gods and divinity, fairies, all sorts of miracles. It's the world of mystery. It's not quite as bright and flashy in the modern technology sense, but it's definitely a bit more sustainable, so to speak. And then this other way, she points to her right, the south window, is a world where mana is on decline, where a combination of humanity's rise to power and the ambition of this side of the world may bleed it dry and leave Gaia dead and a planet whose husk would not be able to support much life at all. Now that's the direction that things are going in right now. So, the thing that you need to understand about the Holy Grail War is that it's sort of cheating a system. It is humanity's system of heroic spirits, of guardians of humanity, servants of Alaya, humans or human-adjacent entities meant to protect humanity and the long-term survival of the species. And through some shenanigans concocted by the Einsburns and the Makiri and the Tosaka, they're using this as a gateway to the root and all of their ambition and their dreams and all of that. And the wish, of course, is really just the result of a gratuitous quantity of mana stored up over very long periods of time, spent in one grand action to change the world around them within the limitations that the counterforce will support. There's a lot there. It's very metaphysical. You could write a book on it and probably no one would read it, but several people would pretend they did. But the thing to understand right now is that it takes about 50 or 60 years to amass enough mana for a Holy Grail War. They've done it a few times. In the 1990s, 11 years ago, the ritual began, but it was interrupted. And so, rather than releasing all of the mana in a grand wish, it burned a city to the ground. But it only took 10 years, with the ley lines intact, for it to refill. A year ago, the ritual was done again. Only this time someone succeeded. Someone won. And someone made a wish. But my theory, based on what I've seen and what I've gathered on my own, is that they wished for too much. They wished for more than 60 years worth of mana. They wished so big that the ritual had no choice but to keep taking mana until it could fulfill it. And so it's taking more than it did before, and it's taking everything that it can to achieve whatever this goal is. And there's not much that can be done to stop it until it uses that mana and makes whatever this is happen. But apparently whatever this wish was is not being stopped by the counterforce. The human defense system, the deterrent force, is not stopping it, which is concerning to Gaia itself. The planet we live on is worried. Now the counterforce has decided that whatever this is, it's apparently good enough for humanity that it's not going to stop it. Which has forced Alaya to sort of sit this one out and left Gaia to step in on her own. She doesn't do this very often. So she has tapped her own heroic spirit equivalents. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. And at this point, you can roll Arcana if you wish.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll Arcana because
Nice. You've heard about this. Like, this is not super rare knowledge among people that have studied at least a little bit of magecraft. And also, you heard a little bit about this back in the castle. So, the heroic spirits are what the force of humanity uses to safeguard humanity. But Gaia, the planet, is bigger than that. And Gaia, the planet's guardians, are the dead apostles. Like, not the lower level vampire-y ones, but the much more powerful ones, the elementals. We're all forces of nature whose job it is to make sure nothing bad happens to the planet itself. Somewhere along the way, most of them kind of screwed up and just started like drinking blood and eating things, but that was their job. That's what they were supposed to do. And you know about this partially in context of how Anise was explained to you. Like, the big forest that is the source of the tree that is attacking the castle is technically one of those. Like, ignoring like 6 million pages of the Type Moon wiki explaining why that's not the case, for simplicity, we're going to say it's one of those.
Oh, geez.
Take that, future comment section. I know, I don't care. That's kind of the approach you have to take when you say anything definitive about Type Moon. I'm aware, I don't care. So yes, that's probably what she's alluding to. So that brings me to what I'm doing here. I'm here in service to the dead apostles, whose job it is to solve this problem. It's a bit of a mess. And the solution that they've come up with is to use this mana that's being pulled for this spell for something else. Essentially releasing the pressure valve. It's going to keep pulling mana until it can do what it needs to do. So we're orchestrating our own Grail War. And the goal is going to be to make a wish simply to use up 60 years of mana and weaken the current ritual enough that it can actually be distilled into simply restoring the ley lines and fixing the world. Now, this is a bit appealing because you still get a wish. You can still make something happen. The important thing is that it disrupts what's happening now before it's too late. And so, my wish is not that different from yours, actually, Anise. I want to stabilize this. I want to stop the bleeding. And I would appreciate it if we could maybe slow down the advancement of humanity. Because quite frankly, they are terrible stewards for this planet. Mind you, I'm fairly confident that if anyone else is in charge, similar problems will occur, but they'll occur slower. Humans are impulsive. Humans have short lifespans. Humans move at a very quick rate to get as much as they can out of this planet before they return to the root. Now, if that means that things fall under the control of the halflings, well, you're a long-lived people, and you're patient, and if you've shown me anything tonight, it's that you're considerate of others, and that's a big step up. Or perhaps the elves, and she gestures towards Nora. You are so long-lived that you have every incentive to take your time. And that's more time for Gaia. That's more time for the world to heal. Quite frankly, humanity is possibly the worst option for running this world. And yet, thanks to the actions of a few key figures a few thousand years ago, they were the ones who ended up on top. So I would not be so bold as to simply try to topple humanity and put someone else on top. I would just like to level the playing field. I would like to reach a point where the distribution of mana on this planet is sufficiently thin that all of these species can survive, but a little bit thicker so that perhaps phantasmals will have an easier time asserting themselves and operating more in the open and less afraid, and perhaps adding a little bit more mystery to the world so that, yes, technology would still be here, but it would be an option, not a necessity. That's what I want.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds reasonable.
And that's why I wanted to know what your wishes are, because if you're planning on joining this war, and your wishes are anathema to this, then we would have a problem. Alternatively, if you would like to help me, I would certainly appreciate, at the very least, your diplomatic skills and investigative abilities. Because while Gaia might be orchestrating this little event, the ritual is very strict, and it will only work if we're following the source ritual. Now, there are already some humans at play who've been vetted to participate. I believe you're familiar with the veteran of the Third Grail War, Miss Edelfeld. She sent one of her servants here to retrieve an item that she feels could be useful in the war.
Oh.
And I'm content to let them have it. I mean, it's not mine to give, but I believe they have similar enough goals, or at least non-destructive ones. It's a bit of a situation, because normally when mages do this, the humans, 100% humans, they have the church step in to make sure that their wishes aren't too ambitious. But quite frankly, the church is a big part of the problem. So we're doing this differently. We're going to have our own Grail War. And at the end of the table, you can actually hear Katherine under her voice go, with blackjack and hookers.
I was literally thinking that, and I was just like, oh my god, no, I'm not going to say it. Nope.
Lupin laughs because he hears this. He's like, well, technically, I have blackjack upstairs. Right, of course. But yes, so for this event in particular, I have my own ambition, and I would be happy to allow everyone who came here to get an item to walk away with what's theirs. Got no intention of interrupting any of that, and quite frankly, the fact that the two of you guided everyone to what was theirs made my life a lot easier. And we could have gotten through this entire thing much more smoothly without a dragon who doesn't pay attention. Although I do think I'm going to have to go upstairs a little before and get him out, because he's a fool, but he doesn't deserve what they're going to do to him if they've realized he's a dragon.
No.
I did feel a little bad about letting him be captured.
They won't do anything too extreme. I'm hoping he maybe learned something from this, but he's actually an unfortunate creature. He is quite possibly the last dragon in the world, and he is only here because he is so diminished.
So he's a dragon, not a dragonborn?
It's complicated. I would say let him tell you his story, because that's only fair. But I don't think he even really understands it himself anymore. He's another one of my old, I'm not going to say friends, but someone I'm familiar with. He is more literally 1/8 of a dragon.
What?
How familiar are you with Japanese mythology?
That's a good question that I'm gonna...
Roll it up. History go.
Rolling.
That's a good one.
Yeah, damn. Get it, Anise.
Been a while.
Hold on.
Hey, Anise rolls like 2s and 20s.
Yep.
Apparently, Penelope also knows her shit
Nice.
here.
Okay. Yeah, you're both gonna know that Japanese mythology, obviously, like, Shinto, but also the various things that were inherited from other Asian religions as they intermingled. It goes back pretty far. And there are definitely stories of dragons. But with her drawing a bead on this and you extrapolating the things that you know, there are a lot of stories about dragons, but there's one story that stands out involving alcohol. And you both know this just from your roles. And that is the story of Orochi, the eight-headed dragon, who was known for stomping around ancient Japan. And the very short version, feel free to wiki this later if people want details, but the very short version is that after taking 7, Japanese women, 7 daughters, in fact, 7 sisters, and eating them, the family of the 8th and final daughter turned to the soon-to-be well-renowned hero Susanoo for help. And Susanoo decided that dragons are nearly impossible to kill, especially for just a guy with a sword. So he had the family first provide an offering of sake. Lots and lots of sake, along with, what would have been their daughter. And the dragon got completely blackout drunk. And while it was passed out, Susanoo went about cutting off its heads. Its 8 heads. And cutting up its body, and cutting up its tail, and cutting it to pieces, because this dragon was huge and resilient, and he had to be sure that it was dead. And when he was in the process of cutting up part of it, his sword broke, and he actually found a sword inside of it that was way cooler, which is the Kusanagi sword that is now one of the 3 imperial regalia in modern Japan, and it's the thing that the emperor gets to play with whenever they become emperor. There's a bunch of other stuff to that, but you've got the connection now that when she says that he's 1/8 of a dragon and he's perpetually drunk, he's probably either one of the heads or the last remaining head or something, because you know enough other stuff from your roles in Arcana that cutting something's head off doesn't always mean it's dead.
Yep.
So both of you can sort of draw this conclusion at the same time, and a lot of pieces fit together.
Oh my god. Poor guy.
It's a bit of a mixed bag. If he were still a full and true dragon, he would be stuck on the other side of the world, or he'd be dead. But in a very diminished capacity, he can walk among us. Well, stumble drunk among us. You see,
There's no walking there.
If your legend directly ties your fate to being drunk, that's really the only way you have enough mystery left to survive. He has to be drunk. He could literally die if he sobers up.
Yeah.
That's
Good thing you didn't sober him up then.
I was about to say, in a way, I tried to kill him, but I didn't realize I was doing it.
Oof.
Whoops.
I suppose it would probably take more than you're capable of doing to easily sober him up. His entire body would be fighting back. And on the meta level, because I think it's funny, he got to use legendary resistance against someone sobering him up so he didn't die. It's the first time anyone has ever used legendary resistance for that.
Wow.
Like, the thing doesn't have a saving throw, but I decided it qualified.
Jeez.
He also has a level of magic resistance, which is why your cleansing stone couldn't get through him easily.
That explains a lot.
But suffice it to say, they can't have a dragon. We can't let the church have a dragon.
Yeah, no.
No.
That's not good, no.
Left alone, they would probably decide that he's some kind of divine wine of Christ or something, and it'd be gross. He doesn't deserve that, so
No.
No.
We'll be taking care of that momentarily. And to his credit, when I pulled him in here, it was, in fact, to get back the flask that will keep him good and drunk with minimal effort and secure his survival in a sense. So, he held up his end of the deal. He didn't hurt anyone, as promised. So we'll be letting him out shortly, but for right now, I'm not too worried about his safety. If they knew what they had, it would be different, but I sincerely doubt they do. Now, that bone is another thing. That they probably shouldn't be allowed to keep.
Well, I mean, Anise, you got the coin for that, right?
I do.
So you get it back fair and square. Or you get that bone is yours.
Yes.
Certainly is. Lupin, leans forward on that one.
What?
Well, it is. That's the rule. We're still following the rules here. They might have taken it, but it's not theirs to keep.
Yeah.
And if they decide that they're going to break the rules, well, then there are going to be a lot of people here very unhappy with them because, big surprise, part of the point of the system is that we're all invested in it working out. It's what you do when you don't know who's going to show up for your party.
True.
If they decide that they're going to betray us, they're going to be facing down a lot of angry people.
Very true.
And with that, Lupin sort of leans back and continues eating. He seems to be pretty hungry. But that's sort of where I'm at on this one. Do you have any other questions that you would like answers for? I know that you've had a lot to dig through, and quite frankly, I'm impressed enough by your effort that if you decide that you'd like to participate in the Grail War, but not as rivals, I would be happy to bring you over to my team.
Okay, I have a couple, and
Sure.
none of them are related to this Grail War stuff at all. This is mostly curiosity.
Sure.
Okay, Lucretia, are you actually human?
No.
Can called it. Sorry. Okay,
You got her. You caught her out. You caught her.
I knew it. Okay, if you're not human, then what are you?
I suppose the fairest thing to call me would probably be an elemental. I'm not a dead apostle ancestor per se. They're long since crazy. But in a way, they can manifest someone acting in their power. That's what I am. I've actually been walking the world for quite some time as the dead apostle who I represent is predisposed with... I don't really understand her myself. She's crazy. That's sort of the thing. Part of the reason the dead apostles were allowed to become the monsters that they often are portrayed as is because they expelled their responsibilities. I'm the responsibility part. So I'm responsible for keeping this planet spinning, along with several others. And I have my fair share of power, don't get me wrong, but I'm not an eternal being that dates back to before humanity or anything of the sort. And I've certainly made my share of mistakes over the years, too.
Okay, my next question. So, what exactly is the arrow? Or what are half of the artifacts here? Because some of these I have no idea what they are.
Well, until I know where you stand in the war, I'm not going to tell you about the arrow. Because I do plan to hang on to this. This is important now, and I didn't break any rules to get it. Now, if you come over to my side, I'll be happy to fill you in on all the details. But if we end up on opposite sides, you knowing who my heroic spirit is would be problematic for me. I'm sure you can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
We'll have to think about it
Now, that said, in the interest of fairness, I will tell you whose bone that is. And she points towards where you were gesturing to having the coin before for the bone.
Go on. I am quite curious.
So, I believe the reason that the church is fascinated, if they really understand, I don't think they do. I think they sense that there's something divine about it, but they don't really know what it is. But how familiar are you with biblical mythology? This would be a religion check if you want to do that.
Religion. Okay.
The less rolled one.
Not very.
That's understandable, admittedly.
Not that familiar. There was a guy named Jesus. They killed him. He came back to life. There was a flood. Everyone blames Eve when it was really that bitch-ass Adam that screwed everything up, you know? I don't know shit about religion, I'm sorry.
Penelope rolled a 19.
Nice. Penelope knows a fair bit about this. Mostly the more flashy stories. Like, Penelope doesn't know the genealogies, because why would she? But
I mean, who does?
like, even those are up for debate a lot of the time. But she does know most of the major stories that get retold, the things that find their way into fiction and literature and all of that. And that does include a great deal of the mythology that, on the meta sense, is the crap that shows up in Type Moon. So, yes, she's doing great on that one.
Woohoo!
Well, what if I told you that that jawbone belongs to a donkey? And with Penelope's role, jawbone of a donkey does make sense for one specific story from the Old Testament. It is the story of when Samson, the incredibly strong and powerful man, used the jawbone of a donkey to beat a bunch of people to death.
Berserker Samson. Oh no.
Oh no! Penelope is actually cracking up once it hits her.
That's right.
It's like a donkey.
No, it's not. No.
Summon animals
No.
as heroic
No.
spirits?
No. So, okay, it's this guy. He took the jawbone and beat the shit out of a bunch of people with it
Oh.
to death.
Oh. Mm.
With a jawbone?
Violent.
Christianity's weird shit.
It is.
It absolutely is. But yes, it's the fun thing when you're acting through the power of Christianity, especially ancient Christianity, and any other religion, really. They're not as special as the church would have you believe they are. There's divinity in that item. It's part of a myth and a legend, directly affiliated with the divine. The bone itself conjures the imagery of a man fighting through an army by himself and winning through the direct backing of a divine power. So if you were to decide that you were participating in a Holy Grail war and you were to use that as a catalyst, you would very likely get a very angry man capable of killing an army. With a very widely known weakness.
Oh no.
So consider that a favor. It's a very powerful tool, but I'm telling you now, if you decide to enter the Holy Grail War against me, and you use that, I know how to stop that one.
Oh dear.
The others might not. So, should you wish to do that as an ally, then we could certainly arrange something. But it would be unfair leverage. So that's why I'm telling you.
True.
Now, the church people upstairs are holding possibly the most holy relic they will ever see, and they don't even know it. And that's funny.
The shroud?
The shroud is... That's something that's probably more relevant to them for their saints. Like, I've never really thought of the saints as being nearly as powerful as they seem to think they are, but... Admittedly, they are a force that still gets worship, in a sense, which is more than we can say about most of these things. There's still active power in them.
Hmm.
I'm not sure which saint it is, I must admit. The jawbone stood out to me a lot more because there are only so many myths about an animal's bone like that. There are any number of burial shrouds, and I couldn't begin to guess which one that belongs to. Truth be told, I try not to touch too many divine things. Like, to be clear, I'm not a vampire, but divinity is at odds with Gaia, and I'd rather not push it. So it's of no use to me. Of course, if the stupid dragon breaks into a room, he's going to grab the thing that I don't want.
I mean, you did trust a drunk dragon to grab a thing.
I trusted someone who I could count on to be drunk. That was a calculated risk that did not pan out. However, I ultimately got what I wanted, so I suppose it worked out anyway. Though I will admit I wasn't aware that you had an arrow of such significance here. And she's glaring over at Lupin again. And Lupin shrugs. Look, it's fun for me. No one knows what these things are. I don't even know what half of them are. I just know that they have owners and that the nice little statue told them who they were. This is fun for me all around. This is my last night. I'm having a hurrah.
What are your plans after tonight?
Do what?
I'm asking him what is he doing after he retires?
Honestly, I don't know. I've got one plan, and truth be told, I think that's going to be up to you. And he points at whichever one of you currently has the envelope coin.
I think that's me. Let me check.
Pretty sure that's you. I don't actually have all that many coins.
Yeah, I think Anise has got like a collection running over there.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Just as the last one to talk to so many people.
Yeah. Envelope. Yep.
I'm feeling like I can easily talk to all of you about this. So, what is the one universal element? Well, okay, there's several universal elements in every good heist film, right? There's the plot twist, there's the betrayal, there's all of that stuff. But where does it always start?
What?
Where does it always? Anise has never seen a heist film in her entire life.
That's fair.
She just kind of reaches out for another English muffin and stuffs the whole thing in her mouth so she doesn't have to talk.
I'm so sorry. What was the question?
The question is, where does every heist movie start?
I mean, a lot of them usually start in a really shitty hotel room where they're discussing things.
Well, that would be a bit of a change of pace for me, wouldn't it? No, generally they start with the recruiting of the group. You've got to get the gang together for one last job. That's fair. I know not everyone watches movies. I mean, who am I to assume that everyone watches movies? It's a bit easier for me to go to the movie. I don't have to put up an illusion. But yeah, so that's what that envelope is. It's one last job. So whoever wins the envelope has a freestanding invitation for me to come out of retirement for one last job, and then we're going to go get something.
Huh. That's interesting.
The range of facial expressions I just saw. Oh my god.
Seems more fun that way, right? Like, I'm done stealing from me. I'm mostly done stealing. I've got what I want and more. That's why this whole thing's happening. But I like the idea of settling down, maybe on a beach, maybe in the mountains, maybe top of a penthouse with my many, many riches. But then one day, getting an envelope in the mail, or someone at my door in the middle of the night, telling me that I'm needed for one last job. And then we're going to go do something stupid. And we're going to steal something. and that will be it. That's my plan. That's my retirement. So I'm entrusting whoever walks away with that coin with determining what that is. So you better make it good. This better not be going to Denny's. I need to steal something good. It's got to be worth my time.
But what if we just want to invite you to go out to Denny's?
Well, then you are wasting an opportunity, but I will get a grand slam.
What if we invited you to go to Denny's but didn't use the envelope? What if we just called you up and went, "Hey, Lupin, Denny's?"
I would probably still get a grand slam.
Do they have Denny's over in Europe? In 2004?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I assume. I admittedly did not research this joke before I made it.
That's fair.
In Type Moon World, they do. How's that?
Okay, cool.
In the Nasuverse, Denny's is a well-respected restaurant in many a country, and also America.
In the Nasuverse, Denny's is the level that McDonald's is, and McDonald's is some like little kitschy American chain.
Oh no!
That people end up at 2 a.m.
Admittedly, if Denny's is like Japanese Denny's, then it deserves to be everywhere.
True fact.
Big old hockey puck pancakes. They're amazing.
IHOP, never heard of it. Denny's all the way.
Oh jeez.
But given all of that, do you have any other questions? I'm feeling like answering them at this point because I feel like, quite frankly, there's no reason to keep any more secrets.
Do I have? Let's see.
So, how exactly are we going to go about rescuing Jimmy? Is that his actual name?
That's the name that he has right now. I think someone called him that back in the third. So, do you want to know how he almost died? I will tell you this.
Yeah.
Sure.
I found him in America in the 1930s.
Oh.
Do you know how you kill an alcohol dragon? You send them to Prohibition.
Oh no, that's sad.
So I'm making my way around, living up the nice Gatsby lifestyle, as it were, and I encounter an ancient being on the cusp of death. And I figure out what he is, and I realize he needed moonshine to survive. And he was calling himself Jimmy. I assume someone called him that, and that's what stuck. Because Jimmy is not Orochi or any other ancient Japanese name. My assumption is that he found his way to America at some point in history and then dried up and forgot most of what he is. Now,
Yikes.
that said, I have every reason to believe there are 7 more of them out there.
That's terrifying.
And the fact that I've never seen one of them in all my years on this world is telling. Also, there's a non-zero chance that if they were to ever get back together, they might actually do something. So, for their sake, I hope they don't.
Yeah.
At least not before we maybe fix this world such that it can have a dragon or two. Because I think he's probably served his time by now. A few thousand years of wandering, drunk, and hopeless is punishment enough for anyone.
Okay, this is a silly question. How old are you, Lucretia?
That's a forward question.
I mean, I'll tell you how old I am. I don't care.
I'm much, much older than most of you. I would say... So time is a bit of a strange concept for me. I separated from and became my own unique entity, I would say, a few thousand years ago.
Oh.
But it took a while to really articulate myself. I was present in the age of gods, the age of fairies. I was present in many a time period. The sad thing is, as you go further along, it gets harder to really recollect all the details. I mostly remember my victories and my mistakes, not so much the day-to-day. As you can probably imagine, things were very samey for most of history.
That's fair.
I'll give them credit for this. The humans might be burning this planet out, but they're at least making things interesting for a while. And to that, Nora nods. So wait, you're really fucking old? Yes, I'm really fucking old. Huh.
You look good. What's your skincare routine? No,
Does that mean you
Ooh.
know how old dinosaurs are? I have not seen dinosaurs. It's too bad. Yes. I've seen dragons, but not dinosaurs.
Okay, Katherine being rude aside.
Look, I don't get to talk to people like that very often, okay? I'm mostly stuck with stuffy people who think the best idea is to make a cool gun and never shoot it.
Okay, fair.
So it was you and Jimmy and someone from the church. Is anyone else working with you?
You mean as part of the plot tonight?
Yes.
Not especially. So, I coordinated in advance with Jimmy and, unbeknownst to them, the two mercenaries. And
Right.
one of the people from the church has been helping me out a bit. Oddly enough, I didn't really have to do a lot of collaboration with that one. I think they just like the idea of having someone answer some of their questions about history. I suppose it's the scholar in them, and I know a fair bit. So, you confirm a few things, disprove a few things. That's nothing they can really act on, but they seem to find value in it. Like, the truth is an interesting commodity among scholars. And in exchange, some relatively harmless manipulation. You might actually find this pretty entertaining. And she's staring back at Katherine. So, one of the things that was going to happen, and I'm going to tell this to you now, Lupin, just because you didn't think about it, and I think that's funny, was that had things gone according to the original plan, and they kind of did in a sense, during the big distracting explosion where everyone falls harmlessly into the maze and then into the sand, the locks on your big vaults were undone. But the small individual ones were going to be undone next. Do you know why they didn't get to finish unlocking all the doors? Looks back over at Katherine. Because when someone fell and lost all of her concentration, all of her robots became visible. And that freaked everyone in the room out who was watching the cameras, which made it a lot harder to unlock all the doors.
Oh no.
Ha! Gotcha. You didn't do that on purpose. You don't get credit for that. Doesn't matter. I did it. Outsmarted a super genius from 1,000 years ago. I'm older than that, and no, you didn't. All I hear is that I beat you in my sleep.
Just let her have this one.
Well,
She
regardless.
won't shut up about it until you do.
Regardless, I found that the lot of you and your allies are completely unpredictable. And if you are involved in the Grail War, you're going to make this a lot more complicated. But also, you seem to be pushing in the right direction. So if you choose to enter, not as an ally, I'm at least not as worried if you win as I would be for someone else. Right now, we've stacked the deck with 2, possibly 3 masters, of 3 or 4 of them, depending on if the rest of you are interested, who are all sympathetic to this cause. As we get closer to it, no doubt the Grail will pick the remainder. One of our allies managed to sneak a peek at the directions for how this works while visiting the Einsburn Castle. Managed to dispel the security on the downstairs vault and see how it worked, apparently. And we found that apparently if you try to stack the entire deck, the Grail has a security measure that makes things much more complicated. So we're just trying to get about 3 or 4 seats and hope for the best. I trust anyone here who's interested in participating has a similar goal of, at the very least, not making things worse, and hopefully making some wish so that we can compete in earnest, satisfy the Grail that we're trying, and then make a wish that prevents the death of this planet.
Do you have any theories about what the wish is that's causing the Grail to build up so much mana?
I have no idea. It must be fundamentally transformative to be so big.
Yes.
I tried to research who the masters for the last war were. There's a fair assumption that the heirs of the Einsburns, the Tosakas, and the Picrew were involved, because they always are. And Clock Tower sent 2 representatives. I'm not sure who the other 2 masters are, or even if everyone who was lined up for this ended up being a master. All I know is that none of them seem to still be around, and that entire areas of the city have disappeared. And whatever they wished for was a bit more ambitious than even 60 years of concentrated ley line energy can provide.
Big.
So also, if you happen to win the war, maybe try to be a little restrained in how much you want to change the world. It would be a shame if we destroyed it trying to fix it.
But not so restrained that it doesn't use the mana. Couldn't just
It's a tightrope. It's a bit of a tightrope, isn't it?
What? Anise is just like, I want a sandwich, and just reaches out for more bread.
Delicious carbs. But suffice it to say, like I said, I trust a lot of you, should you wish to participate. I would be happy to pull some strings to get you involved, although it sounds like you've already got associates in line. I know that one of my peers recently tried to ensure that the Einsburn did not get involved, a bit aggressively. The walking obligation of Einosh apparently attacked that castle.
Yes.
Which
we know about that.
Is a bit crude. I think he was trying to ensure that they don't enter and win and try to pull off that miracle they've been aiming for the past 1,000 years, since that would absolutely be too transformative for the state of things.
Yeah, yes it would.
Though, as I understand it, he somehow failed. But he doesn't seem to know it, and I'm not going to tell him. I have a feeling that he did enough damage that the Einsburns are not going to be in this war anyway.
Yeah, probably not.
Says Anise with absolute confidence.
It's at this point that Penelope reaches over and grabs like a blueberry muffin and just rams it in her face. Not in Anis's face, in her own.
No, that would be way funnier.
And she just like reaches over and just shoves a muffin in Anis's face.
If they got attacked by a dead apostle, I mean.
My understanding is that he was simply trying to prevent them from participating, and since the ritual is already in place, they don't actually require an Ein's burn to trigger it for a change. I believe the Edelfelt woman is orchestrating the actual ritual now as one of the survivors of a previous war. She's got enough of a connection to hijack the system. And if things go well, then we're going to need to pick a place and a time, preferably before too much damage is done.
Does it not have to happen in Fuyuki?
I don't think the mana in Fuyuki could actually support it happening there anymore. Like, it's... You haven't been there, but when I visited, the humans can walk around well enough, although they are starting to get sick. But I'm an elemental, in a sense at least, and I could barely breathe, let alone use mana from the planet to perform any sort of magic or magecraft. I have no such level of power there, and I would suspect that your sisters, the other druids, are running into similar problems, which might be why it's taking them so long to report back to you. I'm assuming. And when she says that, like, Nora, like, glares at her a bit, like she might have slipped up a little bit and said that she knew something she wasn't supposed to. To be clear, no one's getting news out of that area. It's a depressing truth that many a mage is incapable of booking an airline flight for themselves to leave. So they're teleporting in, missing their target, and getting stuck there.
So we don't teleport. Got it.
I would not recommend doing so within hundreds of miles of it at the very least. The mana outside of it is still there, but things are getting unstable. How familiar are you with the nature of the textures of the world? The reverse side and this side. I'm sure you're aware that the reverse side is where the phantasmal species too powerful for this world live, and conversely, this side is where the creatures that are sufficiently weak can survive. Weak in terms of mana, obviously, not in terms of power. But are you familiar with the areas in between?
Sort of.
I'd say I'm pretty dang familiar.
Damn.
Nice.
Wow.
I love that you roll big or small. It makes the most fun role playing.
It really does.
I need to get you a coin, and that's just your D20.
Oh, poor Penelope.
It's okay.
Still pretty good.
12.
Still pretty good. I mean, Anise is a druid of the land, probably would know more about this than Penelope. Like, she's literally circle of Gaia, effectively. So, she probably knows how the planet works a little bit.
Very true.
Like, Penelope knows that the textures of the world are on top of one another, and that technically when you're in something like a magnificent mansion, you're sort of floating in an area in between, but it's a very, very small and localized one, so it doesn't impact you much. And Penelope knows from interacting with Vivienne that you can kind of poke through for a moment, but not physically. That's why you're talking to a water person instead of the actual fairy.
Right.
But they're close enough to do that, and that in some areas it's deeper than others. Anise, however, knows a great deal about this because, for starters, people like Nora taught her and made sure she understood this before they let her go anywhere because, like, elves are very serious about history. Like, you gotta at least understand how the world works if you're gonna live in it.
This was a little nerd and took notes.
And was absolutely a nerd who took notes. And Anise knows that while, like, this side and the reverse side of the world are probably the two most intact now, there's a myriad of other textures of different sizes throughout. And that, like, for instance, the Wandering Sea is technically buried between them. Like, that's the place that your Dragonborn buddy is from. It's not really on this plane or really on the other plane. It's sandwiched in between them like a bump in a bed. Like under the covers, but above the mattress. It's just lumped up, and that's where it is in a metaphysical sense. And that it's not the only one, it's just one of the more prominent ones. So the entire world has lots of little pockets in it.
Anyway, she asked us if we're familiar with the textures of the world, so a bit familiar, yeah.
A bit.
Well, I'll make this a bit easier then. So, one of the side effects of what's happening in Fuyuki is that as things are drying out on this side and the other side, I believe, I have reason to believe that it's working on both sides, the planet is sort of stretching itself to fill the gap. It's like it's pulling on a sheet. And when you do that, things get taut. And that means that each of these little subtextures throughout the world are having more and more pressure pulled on them on both sides, and they're starting to poke through. Which means there are areas in the world where small spaces, not very large, localized, can poke through and operate on very different rules. Now, they tend to starve themselves out due to the lack of mana and fade away. But they're anomalies. And when they pop up, they're very problematic for anyone in their proximity because they're little places that can do different things than what this side of the world wants. So you might be in a small town which has urban legends about a giant insect man who breaks bridges. And right now, those urban legends, normally far too shallow to amount to anything, might start breaking through. They'll fade away in time, but they can do things in the meantime. So they're not heroic spirits. They're more primal elemental spirits given form by superstition and mythology, allowed to run rampant for a time. And Gaia can't handle that because all of these little bumps are going to pop like that. And when they do, things are going to come spilling out.
Giant caterpillar.
No.
And that's problematic for many reasons. And so the longer we wait to solve this problem, the more incidents like that are going to happen. And eventually, our friends in the church and our friends in the Mages Association are going to start spreading themselves then to cover it and keep it a secret. And that doesn't bode well for phantasmal species either. Because when they're on edge, they make more drastic choices. So, if all goes well, the Edelfelts will secure a place and we'll set up a time and we'll follow things to the best of our ability. But I believe Lavisa said that she has a contact who can move the actual site of the Holy Grail War, the Heaven's Feel, the Great Ritual, the whatever the poets of the moment are calling it, to another location and still have it connected to the Greater Grail within Fuyuki, where all of this mana is pooling. We're going to try to find somewhere sufficiently remote that we can actually act with an appropriate amount of power to both manifest these heroic spirits and not have them immediately undone by the thinning of mana. It's quite possible we're going to find a place where one of these bubbles is coming up, one of the bigger ones. If we can predict it, because you'll see signs before it happens, the swelling before the burst. And we're going to try to time it in one of those so that we can make the maximum use of a space that can support a Holy Grail war and actually finish it. Because if we don't have enough time to finish the ritual, it's going to be bust and we're going to have to start over. And we may not have time to do this too many times.
Whew.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
Bit.
Now, if your contingent, and she's looking back over to Nora at this point, would like to send a representative from the elves, the half-elves, the druids, the nature-born, we would love to have you. We're fairly confident that we're on the same page and have the same goals. And if that bumps us up to 3 or 4, so be it. If you would trust the 2 of these, and again, you don't need her permission, obviously, she says to the 2 of you. Like, you don't need her permission, but it would probably be good if we don't have too many rivals in one room. We don't want to actually convince the Grail that we're cheating. We're writing a fine line there, too. But I would rather we have the majority at 4 than settle for 3.
What does happen? You said that the Grail makes it harder?
Yes, there's a fail-safe where if it decides that, let's say, 7 masters came together with one goal, it thinks that's cheating, and so it will summon 7 more masters with 7 more servants. And there will be 14 total masters, 14 total servants, and they all have to fight.
That's a lot.
Until only one side is left, and then they have to fight until only one is left, which will take a very long time.
Yes.
We'd rather avoid that.
Yes, definitely.
Especially because whoever it summons would be inherently opposed to the first 7. And if we're here to keep the planet alive, I am terrified to think of who it would summon with an opposite objective.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not good.
Republican.
No!
Oil barons.
No!
I'm still saying it in Anis's voice, sorry. To be clear, I was joking. I was not saying that in character.
Child.
A child, no.
Wow. Yeah, if that was in character, then Katherine was going to make a Captain Planet joke, but since it wasn't, we're just going to let it go.
No!
Loot and plunder!
No!
You'll pay for this, Captain Planet.
Although, on a side note, I appreciate the fact that one of the Captain Planet villains was actually named Duke Nukem, and it somehow did not trigger a trademark war.
Well, one of them was also named Luton.
Well, Loot and Plunder, though, just actually became the Republican Party platform. So. But also, he was voiced by Tim Curry, so we like him. That's a positive trait in a character.
Hey.
God, if I could do a Tim Curry voice, you'd have an NPC right now. That'd be fun. Anyway.
It's the Rocky Horror Fate Show.
Oh God.
No.
No.
Well, if you do that, then you have to worry about Type Transylvania showing up. And that won't end well for anybody.
No.
Frankenmoe instead?
No.
Do what?
Can't we just get Frankenmoe instead?
I mean, also terrifying. There's a lot of scary things out there.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say, that's the state of the world right now. So I appreciate what you've done to actually resolve this peacefully, as well as could be. You did everything within his rules. She tilts her head to Lupin. You seem to have made a bunch of allies, which might be helpful in an upcoming conflict.
Yeah.
And gesture to Penelope. She likes making friends, and I like making allies.
I do like making friends.
And in doing so, you completely undone a very carefully orchestrated plan.
You know.
Well done, though.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be defeated, I would rather be defeated by someone who's positive and making the world a better place.
I have a bit of a knack for it.
That said, there are some other items that are upstairs that might be useful in a Grail War. Might not. I have no idea what all of them are. There's a lot of weird stuff. This guy won't tell me what they're for. But that wouldn't be fun now, would it? The world could die, Lupin, and it will be saved by heroes who figure some things out along the way. Also, I don't know what they are either. I just know they're important, so I put them in the fancy case. I didn't steal all of them, I just stole some of them.
I know in any case, before I make any life-altering Grail War participation decisions, I need to sleep.
No, fully agreed.
Ugh.
I do have one question for you, Lupin. Just out of curiosity, what is the favorite thing that you've stolen?
That I've stolen? Oh, that is a question.
I'm just curious.
Out of all the items that I've stolen... And you can see Katherine just sort of like salivating at hearing what this is. Like you could see it. She's not at all being subtle about this. I'd say that probably my favorite thing that I've stolen would have to be that time I took the Declaration of Independence.
Well, like...
Oh my god, did you meet Nicolas Cage?
Has that movie come out yet?
You know what?
It might have. It might have. I'm looking it up now. This is too important not to look up.
No, we're looking this up now.
This is why we have the internet.
2004.
This is contemporary. This happened.
Hang on. Hold on. I have to go get dice. No, I'm just going to use these dice. Anise has seen National Treasure. Like every other movie she's seen, it was all right, but it wasn't like, she feels like if she could have gotten the runtime back in her life, she would, but it wasn't like she was suffering the whole time.
Right.
Penelope is asking this with a completely straight face, by the way.
Yeah. No, so here's the deal. I stole it because the movie seemed like it... I'm not saying it was plausible, but I had to know. So I snuck in, and I took it, and of course there was no map on the back of it. But I replaced it with a copy anyway.
Do you have the actual Declaration of Independence, Lupin?
Of course. You think I was going to put that up for grabs? It's the Declaration of Independence.
I mean, you better have that framed.
Oh, it's very well secure. Like, I didn't put all of my stuff here. Like, someone might steal it. And he looks directly at Katherine.
Better watch out for Nicolas Cage.
Penelope's gonna hop up and run over and be like, "So, Katherine, we're gonna go steal the Declaration of Independence, right?"
Are you going to use that letter to make him steal it for us? Because that'd really piss him off.
I mean, I don't have the...
I'm right here. I can hear you.
That would be funny, but somehow...
I'm joking.
Though I must say, I really admire your ambition.
Don't worry, I've got better things to do with my time than steal the Declaration of Independence.
There's not even a map on it.
No, it's really, it's fun to do. Like, that's me. I'm not about actually having things. I'm about getting them. The fun is in the journey. That's why I don't mind giving all this stuff away. You think I'm ever going to get another chance to steal a dinosaur skull? Well, I might. But no, they're heavy. It's a pain in the ass. No, I'm about the story, the legend. Like, we're in a world that runs on mystery, and there's no greater mystery than where'd that go?
So, out of character and only somewhat related, there's actually National Treasure 3 in development.
I will watch it. I'll watch
Yeah,
it.
me too. First two were good.
I loved both of them. They're fun.
They are really good.
They're way better than they have any right to be. But they're a lot of fun.
I was looking to see if it was based on books, and it was not. But there's apparently like a third book, a third movie, and then like a prequel book series and some sort of streaming.
That doesn't sound as good. I'll watch a movie.
I'll watch a movie. I might read the
God.
books. I don't know.
Like, National Treasure is like the Rush Hour of ridiculous Indiana Jones type movies.
It's
like,
just such like a popcorn movie.
Yeah, it's really fun. They're fun movies. I don't know if the new one's going to be fun because it's been a while, but the first two were really fun. I will absolutely watch another one when it comes out. It might be matinee, but I'm going to do it.
Navigating away from the Wikipedia page now.
It's for the greater good.
And back in the scene.
But yeah, so honestly, other than that, I think it was really fun beating a tiefling in a fiddle battle. It's not often I get to play music.
Poor Johnny, though.
I mean, really, that just means that she's just going to be stalking you around until she finally wins it from you.
I know. I wish I could just give it to her.
So, between you and me, I'm of the opinion that whoever gives her her power wanted her to lose, because I'm not that good at fiddling. It's fun, it's a hobby, but I'm no professional. I feel like things just keep conspiring against her. That's why I wanted to give her another chance to, compete with you. I didn't think she was going to win there either because you're a professional, but it was a chance.
Well, maybe her patron is subtly trying to get her to improve, and one day she will be good enough to legitimately beat you and get the fiddle back. Yeah. And in the meantime, we'll just have like a very nice and polite tiefling kind of always around, challenging you to music duels. Who knows, maybe you'll get better too. Maybe this is a good growth opportunity for both of you.
Also, fairness where due. It doesn't seem to be much of a fiddle, but I'm fairly confident there's enough flowing through it from whatever that patron is that it means something. Don't use it to summon the devil. Don't do that.
I'm not summon Johnny.
I'd be like, it's like, all right, gotta summon the devil. Oh, hi, Johnny, how are you?
I mean, if we summoned the actual devil, that would be bad.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to, but there are enough variations of it that you might get something devil adjacent. Like, you wouldn't get the Christian concept of fallen angel Lucifer, but you might get something that people think of related to it. Or, something that people consider the devil, like Charles Manson or Ozzy Osbourne or something. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Don't summon those.
No.
Also, Osborne's not dead yet, but I don't think it actually matters. It's about having a legend, and honestly, today's legends are probably pop stars.
I mean, I am a legend.
There will be tales of you, definitely true.
Can you summon me?
Would you want to?
I don't know.
I suppose you'll have to accomplish something amazing and be known worldwide for it, but also be mysterious enough that they tell stories about you for a century or two before you qualify. But I guess you could, if that was your goal.
Not really. It was...
Having met some of the people that went into legend, I promise you their stories are different than the way people remember them, so you might not even get the version of you that you are.
Oh.
Again, out of character. Caster Freddie Mercury. You said pop star, and I'm like, a Beatle. No, wait. Fred. Was he dead? He was.
Freddie Mercury would probably have a really... Well, it would turn into JoJo is what it would do.
Yeah.
It would... Like, I can't even make jokes about this because in part 4, they've got a villain whose stand powers are all named after Queen songs. So it would just be that.
Yeah.
Killer Queen. With a noble phantasm, dynamite with a laser beam.
Or would he be a writer because of the bicycle song?
No.
I'll throw myself out.
Nope.
Goodbye.
No.
I mean, it would be pretty funny. I mean, he does want to ride his bicycle.
Anyway.
Anyway.
We're going to make it through this breakfast.
We're going to do it.
Meal. And it's just goes for another English muffin. Slathers it with some jam.
Anise, how many of those have you had?
That is not important.
Okay.
She just like chugs a thing of coffee. I'm assuming there's coffee.
I mean,
If it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure the food in this room is enchanted to not actually make you gain weight.
Good. Fuck.
Nora narrows her eyes at that. Nora's rolling insight.
What, the good or the should have brought hemlock?
The idea of food that doesn't make you gain weight.
Right.
She's just keeping her eyes narrow as she eats more.
Oh, okay. So if it's stuff from inside the mansion, so once we leave the mansion, even if it's in our stomach, doesn't it just vanish?
In a logical world, yes. In Dungeons and Dragons, no.
Gotcha.
Like, it should, but it doesn't. Because Dungeons and Dragons it's inconsistent in that ruling. Like, it's really dumb. Because, like, anything else in the mansion just disappears when you leave. But also, it gives you food. So, like, what's the point if it doesn't fill you?
Maybe it's something like if it's been converted enough into, like, other things, then the mansion thinks it's part of your body. I don't know. I know you can swallow things and then leave the mansion and have them still be in your stomach.
Yeah.
So
the way that we're interpreting it here, because we have the Type Moon framework to overlay on this, is that when you go into a magnificent mansion, you're stepping into one of those little bubbles that I was talking about. Like, you're going down to a middle part of the texture. So everything here is real for the purposes of being here. And then when you go back above, the mana that sustained it goes away, so it sort of fades away. But, like, if you eat something in Type Moon, your body will actually extract mana from it, and it will enter your body as, like, odd and all of the dumb terminology that only really gets explained in fucking art books that no one's read.
Yeah,
and it becomes part of your body, and now it's yours, so you keep it.
Okay.
I prefer to do the hand wavy thing because I know they've translated this crap a million different ways on the wiki, and people will only find one of them and think everyone else is wrong. So that's what's going on. Again, future YouTube comics, fight me. Like, I don't care. I will be telling you how it works here.
I mean, you're parsing Dungeons and Dragons rules, which can already get very esoteric and weird. And then you're also parsing Fate rules, which by definition are esoteric and weird. And that's the reason we like Fate, because it's weird.
I like Fate because Fate is essentially a giant RPG system, and you're just watching people play it every time you watch a Fate show. Because, like, the universal rules are consistent. There's just a billion of them, and they have a bunch of supplemental rules that only show up once.
Some dude had a whole ass world and system in his head and was also super horny.
And still is to this very day, based on Grand Order.
Hey.
But yeah, so if anyone has any other questions, you're certainly free to ask. I'm happy to illuminate you on whatever you want to know, because I consider you allies, and I don't see any harm in it.
How do we get in contact with you after this?
I plan on visiting the Edelfelts next. to help plan out the next stage of the Grail War. I trust you know how to get in touch with them.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So you can reach me by way of that.
Okay.
They know how to contact me. It's a bit of a magecraft option as long as we're around. Like, Levisa knows her share of spells. She's been around for a while, and while she may have passed on her crest, she's still got quite a bit to her.
Okay.
Other than that, if you ever really need to get in touch with me, I'm confident you'll find a way. I tend to show up where I'm needed. It's one of the side effects of indirectly channeling the planet's will. Or in the meta sense, she's still connected to the counterforce.
Hey.
Because the counterforce is literally the author wants something to happen, so it happens.
Deus Ex Machina, quite literally.
Yep. A guardian is literally, we need a hero who's exactly powerful enough to solve the problem if they do it right, and no more.
Yeah.
Fate's fun.
Mm. Yeah, I think I'm good for now. Like I said, I think before I make any major decisions, I just need to sleep. It's been a very, very, very long 24 hours.
Quite. Been a long, just ever since we got to France.
It's been a long France.
Anise just reaches out and slides another cup of coffee over to herself. We have allies we need to confer with, and a lot of things to take care of. Thank you for the heads up about Fuyuki. Like I said, we had been somewhat planning on a trip there, but now I don't know if we should.
I've got one question if you're still in the mood to answer things. Yes, go on. What's your real name?
Ooh.
You mean... Yes, I mean your dead apostle name. Which dead apostle are you affiliated with? Whether or not it's actually you or you're a part of it or whatever's going on in your head and how you work, I want to know which one we're dealing with. And Nora's very stern about this and staring her directly down.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's fair. I am, in many ways, the voice and will of Mara.
Mara?
Yep.
Damn it, Persona 4.
Yeah,
Is that a Persona reference that I don't know? Because that's funny.
Oh my god, let me put it in the chat.
We'll tell you when you're older.
No, let me put it in the chat. You have to see what Mara looks like.
We can talk about it after the stream, but that's really funny. I appreciate how much this game is apparently pulling from Persona when I haven't played it.
Well,
Persona. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
All right. We can double back to it in like 15 minutes because we're probably coming up on a good stopping point anyway.
Just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
It's more like
just don't worry about it.
Persona pulls from a lot of different mythologies and legends too, in the same way that Fate does.
Then I'm looking forward to comparing there.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Let's go.
Though if the two of you want to roll anything for taking a guess in universe as to what that means, you're welcome to.
I'm gonna roll. What do I roll?
Arcana. Is it Arcana, history?
This would be Arcana.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll a 2.
Huh. You didn't, I did.
You still called it, just for someone else. So yeah, Penelope, you're not really sure what that's about.
No, you don't. Shit.
Anise, it's familiar to you, but you can't quite place it. The best you can think of is that Mara's one of the names affiliated with the same root word as nightmare. But
Gotcha.
Not to mean nightmare, just like it's part of what makes it up. So does that make you the dead apostle associated with dreams in the subconscious mind? Of a sort, yes. So if you wanted to, you could just make us do things, couldn't you? Well, if I wanted to, I could try, but I find as you've seen with our rather stupid dragon friend, telling people exactly what to do robs them of the ability to improvise. And the greatest strength I've seen out of a lot of you is the ability to think on your feet and do things I could never think of. So why would I do that? Just want you to know that makes me a bit uncomfortable. But assuming you're telling us the truth, I appreciate how straightforward you've been about it, and I'm hoping that the information that you've given us here will be very helpful to my circle. And if there is a Grail War, I'm at least tentatively hopeful that someone on this side wins. Because while I certainly enjoy the modern world and would like to see where it goes, I can't deny that, and she points her head to the window behind her, is not an acceptable endgame. I've got to do better. At the very least, draw out more time of this because, well, I for one plan on seeing 4 digits of years, and I really don't want to spend them alone. And through all of this, Katherine is just sort of sitting here watching, like, you get the impression looking at her that it's just dawned on her that her lifespan is so much shorter than everyone else on that side of the table. Like, facing mortality when you're like, she might live to be maybe 100. And everyone to her left is measuring time in hundreds of years. And the woman across the table from her is ancient. And Lupin is whatever the hell Lupin's got going on, but she doesn't really care about that. Just the sense of scale and scope of what's going on around her is definitely catching her attention. Well, I hope that I have been helpful to you. As someone else who's likely to see this out one way or another, as long as there's a planet, I'll be here. So I'd prefer to not spend the last few years bickering with you, if you don't mind. Especially if it lasts for several hundred. Certainly understand that. Well, I think I've heard everything that I needed to hear. Wasn't super attached to that coin, but if there is a Grail War, I'm looking forward to seeing who I could have had as a friend. A little bit sassy.
Sassy Nora.
But I got what I came here for. It sounds like everyone's getting what they wanted. Some people a bit more than they expected. Sort of looking back over at Anise's coin collection. But overall, I think that these are probably the most acceptable terms. We should probably go get that dragon before they do something else to him.
Yeah.
What's the plan for that?
Well, quite honestly, I'm going to walk in and I'm going to ask them to let him go. And we'll see if it works. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to sneak him out another way. But hopefully it'll be straightforward enough. I'm not as worried about breaking the rules if they're the ones I'm breaking them against, since they're the aggressors anyway. And as far as I'm concerned, they would have probably broken every single rule if you didn't give them the coin they wanted by the halfway point in the night. Lupin sort of leans forward a little bit. Well, I would prefer we don't actually lead to violence, because quite frankly, I don't want to piss off anyone. I'm looking to ride off into the sunset in my supercar and wait out the invitation to go steal something else. And that's a lot harder to do when I've pissed off the Mages Association, the church, and really all the people that I've pissed off. You've actually done me a great favor by finding out who these things belong to.
Glad we could serve it, yes. Yeah.
Good show, too. That was a fun concert. I had fun with that. Although, and he leans back towards towards his incredibly old elemental friend. Maybe next time, don't crash the floor under me, too. Really undercuts my look when I'm also falling in the sand. Oh no, that was very much intentional. Like, I didn't plan for that, but if I had a say in it, absolutely would have done that. Sometimes you need to be brought down a peg, Lupin. I've known 7 of you now, and quite frankly, you're mid.
What?
Woof.
You know, that hurts. That really hurts. I do my best to top 3, and you're saying I'm 4. Ouch. He looks back over to Anise. You better steal something good. You better steal something real good, because I've now got someone to impress.
Oh, I'll give it my best.
I look forward to it. Well, you're all free to stay here as long as you wish if you want to wait it out. If you'd like to go get the dragon, be my guest. Like, I could walk up and tell them to leave, but I feel like this will be more entertaining if I watch the lot of you do it. I'll step in if it gets too messy, though, so feel free to do it your way. And if necessary, then I'll do what I can to fix it.
Okay, I have a real quick question.
And which one is she pointing that to?
The both of them,
Okay.
I guess. Mostly Lupin, though. Okay, so if I use Charm Person, does that count as breaking the rules in this case?
If you use the spell?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Damn it. Okay. Okay, then I have a backup plan. But I'm ready to go rescue a dragon.
Well, sounds like it's going to be a fun adventure. I look forward to watching it. Yes, I suppose this is partly my mess to clean up too, so of course I'll be heading up there. Wouldn't be the first mess I've made and had to clean up, however long it takes. Believe it or not, I'm actually one of the more responsible Dead Apostle heirs. I at least don't leave a giant fucking tree in the middle of a castle.
You know,
That's just rude, is what that
Yeah.
is.
He's a jackass. Never let it be said that all druids are actually kind in nature. He's a bit extreme, and if he'd left that stupid tree there much longer, I was going to have to clean it up myself.
I mean, the nature of people, be they humans or phantasmals, is that some of them are good and some of them are evil. You can...
Yeah. In the case of that one, I think he might actually be a human.
Huh.
I think he's in this weird spot where, like, he's a very long-lived human druid.
Yes, druids do live long.
So, I don't know. Like, Einosh is not even really sentient at this point. I think the way that it works is that whenever one of its heirs dies, it literally plants them like a seed and grows another one. It's twisted because it means they lose all the history and memory and start over again, and that's why they're reckless and stupid. You're getting more emotion out of her disdain for the Einosh entity than you have out of any of her other emotion tonight, including being annoyed by the guy following her around.
Well, I mean, when you have a really annoying coworker.
Very much that. It's entirely that. It's like, this is the coworker who makes a mess out of the break room and just leaves it.
This is the coworker that eats your shit out of the fridge even when you have your name on it.
Yep, very much. Like, it's her job to keep the planet going, and he's literally leaving a giant parasitic tree that's draining a unique ecosystem away because he wanted a shortcut out of a bounded field. Like, he could have walked outside and stepped in a tree and avoided that whole thing, but no, he just tosses a seed down to leave like a jackass.
What a butthole.
She is not a fan.
Sounds like a dick.
Yeah, well, I would be a liar if I said I wasn't responsible for him losing at least 2 of his heirs in the past. So he's not a big fan of me either. I say at least because I'm not entirely sure that I killed one or if I just left it. Listen, I've gotten more meticulous with time. What's the term that the humans use? Double tapping? Yes, that's very effective.
20 years from now, or 20, like 15, 16 years from now, like, Lucretia's gonna be the one saying, like, yeet. It's like, I do believe it's like what the humans say, yeet?
See, the fun thing is Lucretia's trying to keep up with modern slang and is a little better at it. Whereas Nora is really bad at it.
One of the biggest tells is if you use outdated slang. Like, way outdated slang.
Yeah.
And not like in an ironic, trying to be funny way.
Yeah.
No, 15 years later, she just walks up to 15 years older Anise and Penelope and just dabs at them.
It could happen. It very well could happen.
Penelope dabs back. Anise is like, what?
Like, Nora's understanding of the world is largely based on what she can see. And, like, billboards and magazine covers and stuff. Like, she's taking in the very surface level things and trying to parse it. Whereas Lucretia seems to actually be interacting with the real world because she's walking around as a noble and interacting with society. So, 2 very different sides for a long life.
Yep.
Well, I say we go get the dragon, as it looks like we're running out of time, and from what I could tell upstairs, upstairs meaning the basement, everyone seems to be content to just stay where they are, so you actually, in fact, stabilized a ridiculous event because no one wants to risk losing their coin.
Sweet.
Way to hit equilibrium there. Again, a scenario I never considered because I assumed they'd all be so greedy they'd be fighting one another, but you gave them all just enough to lose that they weren't willing to risk it.
Tee.
I'm looking back over the list and like,
yeah, no, literally everybody got what they wanted.
Everyone got what they wanted.
Yep.
Jimmy was the one person we were like, Jimmy and Lucretia were the 2 people we were like, who are you? What are you?
Yep.
And we figured it out. Sweet.
Okay, so if you don't have any more questions for her, I think we'll stop the session now just so you don't have to go do the dragon stuff tonight. And then the dragon stuff will carry us through the rest of the event because it's almost over.
What's bad is, like, part of me wants to be like, let's go ahead and dragon.
I mean, yeah.
If you want to, we can. I don't mind. It's not going to take long either way.
If we can take, like, a 5-minute break.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I'm totally cool to just be like, dragon time, let's
Cue
go.
up the Monty Python intermission music.
Okay, I'll put up the be right back on the video feed, and everybody go get some water or something.
Yeah.
And remind me when you get back so that I don't leave that up, because I've definitely done that once.
Whoopsie. All right.
Be right back.
Verb.
Okay. Twitch is back to showing the actual game, which is nice.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go rescue a dragon. How you want to go about doing this?
Very carefully.
Well, we need a backup plan in case asking nicely doesn't work.
Like, I fully intend to be like, it's part of my contract that this person goes free. Pull that kind of shit.
You're gonna try to legal them?
I'm gonna try and legal them. But that's why I was asking about charm person too, because I was like,
Right.
maybe I'll be like, hey, it's one of
I
the
mean-
few songs I actually have left.
Maybe convince them that the whole plot steal stuff was orchestrated by Lupin.
Oh wait. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just had an idea. Oh my god.
Okay.
I still have 3 first level spell slots. Or yeah, I have 3 of those. One of those is disguise self, which I already used earlier. But
Okay.
I could disguise myself as Lupin, walk in, and be like, "Hello." He must have.
Does
know.
disguise self copy height? Because Lupin is taller than you.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Let's look at the spell.
Yeah, you'd think I can be 1 foot shorter or taller.
You could be a shorter Lupin.
I could be a shorter Lupin. How tall is Lupin?
He's more than 5 feet tall. Because isn't Penelope 4 feet tall?
She is.
Yeah. He's more than 5 feet tall.
Oh, fuck.
Hemlock hasn't done his hunting melody this 24 hours.
Does that count as a spell?
It's just an ability.
Hemlock is not subject to the rules because Hemlock is a guest and doesn't get a coin.
That's also true.
Now, Hemlock is admittedly, like, as a +1, Hemlock is protected from the church doing things to Hemlock. But, I mean, if it works, then they can't do anything to Hemlock. If it doesn't work, then Hemlock flies away and turns invisible in hopes they don't find him.
And Anise kicks their ass if they try. And if they're like, well, you sent your bird after us, I'll be like, I can't fucking control him. He's a bird. What are you gonna do? Let's do whatever they want. Shit ass.
I appreciate Anise's trash talk. Like, I do want you to cosplay Anise just because then you have to talk like that all day.
Please do.
We'll see.
That sounds like fun. I mean, you don't even have to cosplay as Anise. I just think it's fun talking in character. Like, I have fun talking like I'm Crosby all the time.
Crosby's the best, though.
He has the most fun fake voice.
It's just like anytime you do the Crosby voice, I'm just like, oh man, I'm ready. I'm so ready for this. Let's go.
Yeah, Hemlock's hunting melody, just about the only thing I can do that isn't going to outright break the rules.
You know what, though? I do have good old halfling diplomacy that I could be like, hey, if enough of us come up there and demand the release, I don't know. I
mean, you have a lot of friends.
Do have a lot of friends.
So, just to outline how this works, you're going to walk back out through the door you came in at, which puts you back in the maze. You can stumble your way around the maze, or you can just touch a different wall and then fall in the sand. At which point you will be surrounded by nearly all the NPCs.
That's true.
Then you'll presumably go upstairs because it's at the top floor. So you have an opportunity to walk by literally everyone on your way there.
True.
If there's anyone else you would like to bring.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So I have 2 tranquilizers. My backpack. Just
well, let's maybe not tranquilize. I know you really want to, but we probably should not. So
Lupin's sitting over here just watching this play out, and he somehow pulled popcorn off this table that didn't have popcorn a second ago. He's just enjoying this. Don't mind me. Go back to the part where you're going to be short of me. That's fun.
Fashion some stilts.
Yeah, do you have stilts? Can we get stilts?
I was joking.
And,
What kind of question is that? Of course I have stilts.
Yes.
Not a savage.
Would the stilts become part? Would the stilts become part of your disguise, or would you just be a short Lupin wearing stilts?
I think you'd be a short of me with stilts, and that sounds adorable.
You know what? I'm liking this play.
No, this is not. This is not a good plan.
Are you sure? It might work. You never know. Okay, how about this? If asking them nicely and saying and throwing legal jargon at them doesn't work, can I try it just for shits and giggles?
Are you gonna turn into Lupin right in front of them?
No, I'm not. I'm a professional. Oh my god. No, I would find a place that doesn't have security cameras and then do it. And then go back and try again.
I think we.
I think you really don't want me to do this.
I think we can give it a shot, but let's not make it a plan B. Maybe like D, E.
Okay, that's fair.
J.
That's also okay. Well,
P.
Quit pushing it further down the list. Oh my god.
Q.
No. Okay, so we'll go up. And we can go when we're upstairs. We can go and get Jameson too to add a little bit of extra layer of like, yes, this is in my contract.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Do we want to get anybody else forward?
Not Derek. It doesn't.
God
seem
no,
like this
that's
is
the worst possible plan. I don't know why we bring
Crosby. I don't know. I don't know how he could help.
Yeah, well, I mean, doesn't Crosby work with... Oh,
no.
I keep forgetting how Clock Tower and the church are with each other. It's not good, right?
Not fans,
Yeah.
but not killing each other actively.
No. I mean, plan B.
Lucretia, could you get your inside man to help us somehow?
I could probably get him to prevent them from noticing you coming up. Like, all he really has access to are the cameras and the... Well, he had access to the locks on the doors until someone raised attention, and now he doesn't. Sorry, all I heard is that I can unlock any door and you can't.
And this is why we get rid of technology.
No!
If your locks aren't electronic, you have to pick them the old-fashioned way, and that takes time.
Anise, you can pry my phone out of my cold, dead hand.
Taking away your technology.
Sure?
Also, of note, when she brags about being able to unlock any of the doors, you notice Lupin's eyes sort of rest on her for a second. He goes, huh. And then he goes back to eating his popcorn.
Yeah, because the other thought I had would be to, like, ask either Crosby or Richard to be like, hello, as Clock Tower people, we demand the release. But, like, that seems...
I think Crosby would be more willing.
Yeah.
I mean... But, I mean, they work together, but, like I said, not friends.
Yeah. Okay, so Crosby can be plan B.
Do like you see, okay, you with the contract, why would that have been written in your contract?
Well,
in
maybe
the
not
first place?
specifically like his release, but oh geez.
Like, how do we go about not tipping them off? Well, they probably know he's a phantasmal.
Okay. I could tell them that my contract guaranteed safe passage for me and my friends. And I could be like, this guy's my friend. He was just very, very drunk and stupid earlier. I don't think they'll.
It's worth a shot. It's a good plan B.
Yeah, can't hurt to try.
If he plays along with it. Well, I mean, last we saw they had him kind of gagged and everything, but yeah. So
We did
your
kind of call him
contract does stipulate that, though, so that's not even a lie, right? The lie is that he's a friend, and I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Although
not.
we did yell at him and call him an they were dragging.
Okay, but listen, I've seen some human men do that to their friends. I've seen a lot of human men do that to their friends. That's just a thing.
It's rude.
Yeah.
It's true. I've seen that at many a place. It's kind of special. At first, I thought they really hated each other, and now I think they just speak a different language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at bars and clubs.
It really shows off the variety of connotations you can get from the phrase motherfucker.
Yes, that's true.
At first, I thought it was literal, and I was horrified, and then I found so many other meanings.
Oh no.
Yes, language does evolve quite. It was a bit of a shock when I first moved to London. Anyway. Yes, thank you, Caterpie. Thank you for your service.
You raise a good point there, Mr. Stringshot.
God, every time I get the notification and it's an email, I just picture a Caterpie just kind of like squiggling up to me with like a little envelope in its mouth and being like, "Here you go, you've got mail."
So you're thinking of like Wormmon?
Oh, now I am. Let's be real, I'm almost always thinking about Wormmon, just not on a conscious level.
That's cute.
Okay, so I think we've got a pretty solid first attempt plan.
Yes, we walk in there and ask them nicely, and then inevitably they say no.
I walk in there and own the place.
We say he is a friend of ours, and he was very drunk, and we were honestly just trying to get him to sober up.
Worth a shot. All right.
Told us he was going to behave himself and not run around being invisible and trying to be a pervert. See where I'm going with this?
I mean,
we play it down like, no, we don't know why he had a bone, but
I mean, we don't know why he had a bone to pick with the church. Please don't give me that look. Oh God.
They're just crickets chirping. Anise uses...
Technically, that's your bone, so at the very least, you can bitch them out for taking your bone.
Anise literally uses Druidcraft to make the sound of crickets chirping.
You can do that. I allow it.
It's a cantrip.
No.
It is in line with the power of Druidcraft.
Okay, well, alright. I think we're good to go. So let's...
Okay, so you're heading straight up, just so I drag you to the right part of the map?
We're gonna go... Well, we're gonna collect Jameson first.
Okay. Where did you leave Jameson?
I don't know. He could be anywhere.
He's probably on the middle floor. That's usually where you leave Jameson. It's
Probably.
been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Where is
Sorry,
he?
Jameson.
We left him by the hole.
Well, like, admittedly, his token has this habit of disappearing. So I'm not entirely sure. Oh, God, there's so many extra Roombas on this screen. All right, get out of here. Go.
Jeez.
I have, like, 2 sets of Roombas on this map for some reason. Alright, get rid of extra Roombas. She can't support that many Roombas. She is not that strong a mage. Okay, really, though, where's Jameson? Where'd he go? There about to be 2 Jameson on the map, because I can't find him. just gonna write presence concealment on his ability list because dude just disappears.
He just blends into the background.
The secret assassin servant.
He's just so normal.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add a new token for him. All right, buddy, you get to be here again. If we ever find the other one, that's an imposter. Don't trust it. Okay, so you're gonna grab Jameson on the way up, and then you're gonna head to the 3rd floor because I'll just drop you off on the 3rd floor.
Mm-hmm. To
Okay.
the interrogation room.
Are you getting anyone else, or is it just him?
Just Jim.
Yeah.
Okay. As you're leaving the Lupin room, the dining room, he sort of calls over to Katherine. Could you hang back for a moment? I've got a few questions for you about my security and how effectively you've circumvented it. I don't know. That sounds exactly like a conversation I really don't want to have, ever. I mean, no pressure, of course. You don't have to do it. It's just... I'd be very interested, and I think it would probably be worth your while. At the very least, you know, get an opportunity to brag about it. Well, I do like to brag. I'll catch up with you, everyone. Don't get eaten by the church.
Okay, you don't get eaten by Lupin.
Oh, he couldn't handle me.
What?
I'd kick his ass.
I mean, that's true.
Are you kidding? He's not even in the top 3, according to this lady.
Shots fired.
Oh, poor Lupin.
He's getting roasted in his own home. Okay, so Catherine's going to stay behind. I'm going to drag the 2 of you and Nora and Jameson up to the top. Don't worry, I'll still have the bot, so she pulls out her tablet, so you'll have backup.
Cool.
All right. Whoosh goes Penelope.
I've been whooshed.
Whoosh goes Anise.
You've also been whooshed.
Oh, snap.
Whoosh goes Nora. The map will go black soon. Can you still see the map out of curiosity? Like the...
Yeah.
Okay, so Merlin Vision is sharing this week. It just wasn't last week. Fine.
Damn it, Merlin.
Okay, so I can close the private dining.
Yeah, you can close that one. And
The arse.
Lucretia's coming up with you now, too, because she said she would. Like, technically, this is her mess to fix, so...
Yeah.
She was just having fun watching you problem solve so she can figure out how you managed to outwit her plot, and now she's starting to realize that D20s were involved.
Oh, I've still got Hemlock Vision. That's cool.
I hope I've fixed all the weird Hemlock Vision glitches, but inevitably more will find a way.
Yep.
Alright, so closing out of those. Let's pull you over to the big map.
Ah.
Oh, that's weird in black and white now for some reason.
Oof.
Oh, it's because I put Merlin on 2 maps. That would do it.
Oh, Merlin. Ah. Now everything is in black and white.
I only seem to have Hemlock Vision.
For some reason, I also only have Hemlock Vision.
Oh, that's weird.
All right. Let's...
This is what it's like to be a bird.
I think drag and dropping tokens between maps is the thing that is causing some of our weird visibility problems.
Ah, okay, there we go.
All right, both of you should be fixed now.
Hooray.
Did that work?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I have to reset you as the members of party vision on the map each time I drag you through. Now I know that. This is clean. I had to do the same thing for Merlin so the audience could see it.
Does it look fine on your screen?
Oh, yes.
Cool. Slowly learning your quirks, Fantasy Grounds.
Woo!
Alright, so on your way up, 3 of the Roombas start sort of flanking you. Like they sort of whoosh over from their previous defensive spots at the doors. And they're just sort of flooping around you. And as you're going up as well, you notice that the cameras that are mounted on the walls near the staircases seem to be conspicuously pointing away from where you are every step of the way.
Cool.
All right, so we're here to use legal mumbo jumbo, right?
Yeah, basically.
I can do that. I will use my white-collar superpowers to confuse the church.
You know, I believe in you.
Well, I do what I can. I haven't done much tonight. I might as well try.
Yeah. Sorry about that, by the way.
Oh, no, it's fine. I've been enjoying a lot of food.
True.
It's just how it works. All right, so which way are they? And the bots are leading the way.
Follow those bots. Woo! Maybe not that fast. Oh, God.
We're going to get to enter legal combat.
Legal combat. What is this, Phoenix, right?
It's like Phoenix Wright, but with more logic. I like the idea of Phoenix Wright, but those games are frustrating as hell.
I do enjoy them, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like them, too. I just feel like you have to save Scum because Phoenix is an idiot.
Yeah.
So, like, you maybe figure out what it is, but you're not presenting the data when Phoenix understands it.
Maybe I should show them my bad.
No, why did I do that? The judge is angry. I'll use my supernatural ability to tell when someone's lying. Sometimes. When the chains appear.
Alright.
Alright, well, the door is locked until... Click! Ah, took you with him.
Oh no! Rude, bot. Okay.
Alright, so the door's unlocked and opened.
Alright. Gonna step in.
What wasn't Lucretia go in?
Oh, she's also up here, but she's gonna watch what you're doing first.
Oh,
Good.
yeah, no, this is attempt number 1.
Like, you came up with a plan, she's gonna let you try it.
Excuse me.
Oh, how did you get in here? This door's supposed to be locked. This mansion is supposed to have better security than it seems to have. Yes, how can we help you? You shouldn't be in here, though. This is a very dangerous... So, as you know, you apprehended him. He's very dangerous.
Now, see, I have to apologize because I feel like there's been a little bit of a misunderstanding. So I need you guys to let him go. Specifically, I need you to let him back into my custody.
Was he in your custody before?
At one point, yes.
You mean when you apprehended him?
No. See, I don't think he quite realizes how drunk he is right now.
Very. We were trying to get him to sit down and drink some water and sober up.
Yeah. And just
really drunk, though. Like, wow.
So, part of the problem is that when he gets drunk, he doesn't quite know what he's doing.
Okay.
And
This sounds like a...
This is... What?
This sounds like a role that I'm assisting with.
Yeah, I would like to... What I'm
right, so before you roll for any of that, something that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to give me a charisma saving throw.
Both of us are just Penelope.
Right now, just Penelope because she walked in the room.
Shit. Hold on. Mm, 13.
Okay. You actually hit the number.
Sweet.
So I'm going to tell you because I'm pretty sure you're conscious of this. Yes, you're aware of the spell. So what you kind of knew from before, but you've now affirmed, is that the room here, centered directly under the dragon, is a zone of truth.
Yep.
So you pass the save because it was cast, like the original one was cast by Sister Sylvia and had a higher DC. This one was cast by one of these guys, which has a lower DC, and 13 hit it. So you can lie here if you wish. You have that option. But they also know that you passed the check. So, like, you're kind of in a neutral spot with him. You can't just pretend. But had you not passed it, you would be incapable of lying. Not that you've lied yet. Like, you haven't told a lie. I'm just letting you know because you would know because you stepped into it what's going on.
Okay. But, yes, so... we needed to stop him earlier because he was, he was being dangerous. But the party's almost over. And, I would like to make sure he gets home safely. And I'm pretty sure he's sorry for what he's done.
It's an incredibly dangerous individual. We're not even sure what he is, but we know that he's apparently quite capable of violence and damage.
This guy... No, he's just a drunken idiot.
I like how Anise is not in the radius, but that still would not have registered as a lie.
He likes to pretend he's a big old badass, but he wouldn't hurt a... He'd try and bat at it and fall over and bust his skull open or something.
But yeah, part of my contract for performing here tonight was that safe passage was insured for anyone involved with basically anyone involved with my party. So...
Is that actually in your contract? At this point, Jameson steps right in. Boop.
Yes, this is my manager, and he will explain everything to you.
All right, Jameson. Let's see. Oh, you've got a good save for this.
Jameson.
All right, let's see how we do. Okay, so Jameson steps in and clears his throat a little bit. Yes, what I see here is that you've apparently apprehended an associate of my client, Miss Penelope, points at you. And as she's very clearly stated to you, she has it in her contract that there is protection owed to her and her acquaintances, those here in service to assisting her in her duties to Arsène Lupin, number 7, the proprietor of this event, and as such, this man right here, as one of her associates, is under protection from this, and you have no right whatsoever to retain him. That is not a right that he is resigned, because as I am aware, you did not actually catch him breaking any of the rules of this event. Is that true? And now, you get to make a charisma check, and he gets to make a charisma check because you've got backup, and he's rolling on his own for a different angle.
Okay, so just a charisma check?
You do it with advantage because you have Anise backing you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. I just realized earlier I rolled a charisma check and not a charisma saving throw.
Is your saving throw difficulty different?
I don't know.
It's an easy check. Let's see. Penelope. Your charisma save is bigger than your charisma check, so you're fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that puts you at 15, so you blew it out of the water.
Okay, so you said I'm rolling it with advantage?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's a good number of things to compare.
That is quite spicy.
All right, and Jameson making his check. Okay. So the way that this is playing out is you've come in and you've made this, more direct, logical and emotional appeal of, downplaying the danger of this. And the woman seems unsure, but she's now doubting that what they're doing is okay. And then Jameson walks in and just starts throwing all of these words at her in not her native language. And he's overwhelming her with words in legal jargon. Even though it's not really heavy legal jargon, but like in a secondary language, she's having trouble following all of this. So now she's sort of looking to the two behind her for like some backup, and they're both shrugging because they don't know what the hell to do with this. The woman in the back decides that she's gonna step out for a second and maybe go get the boss. To which the woman that you're talking to kind of nods and says, "Right, well, we're getting the manager. We're gonna go get a manager. Yeah, let's do that." And so a moment later, behind you, out in the hallway from the other door, Sister Sylvia is walking down. Anise can see her first, and she sees the giant crowd of people outside, along with 3 Roombas. And she steps over this way to the door next to you. Yes, what's the trouble here? And the woman that is next to the dragon says, they say that apparently he hasn't broken any of the rules here, and that under the contract that she signed with Mr. Lupin, we can't actually detain him. Yeah. To which Sister Sylvie, like, pretty visibly narrows her eyes and, like, sort of looks to Anise as the one who helped capture this guy with your spell. Is that right?
I mean, he wasn't breaking any of the rules, 1. 2, I was just trying to get him to sit down, some water, and sober up, because he's drunk, he does stupid shit like go invisible and try and steal things. He's a creep,
Those are...
but
Stealing things is a crime here.
I said try.
Nora also pipes up from the... Stealing things is not exactly against the rules as I understand them. I think that's sort of the point.
Yeah. If you'll recall, there are only 3 rules. The first rule was that there's to be no violence. Second rule is that prizes are just going to be exchanged for the tokens at the end of the party at 5. And then the third rule was that we're supposed to have fun. And right now, this is not very fun.
I see. So, would Seymour Sen maybe painted us into a bit of a corner, as we are here under his rules. And you're telling me that this man is not a danger to the people around him?
He's only a danger if we let him get too drunk. And even then, it's more of a danger to himself.
True, and normally he's, limited to the amount of alcohol he can physically find, but here in this lovely mansion, you can just go and ask for it, and doesn't really know when to stop drinking.
So what you're saying is that the rules and the alcohol are both Lupin's fault.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, this is all Lupin's fault.
I mean, well, no, the rules and the alcohol are Lupin's fault.
Okay, Penelope, roll charisma check with advantage again, because this is something she wants to believe. She really doesn't like Lupin. That's beautiful.
Not only did you get a 20, you pulled off the 420 roll.
You did. You absolutely did. And you're using a green die. Well done all around. You did it.
I think I've just won the internet. Whoa!
I mean, this is about up there as the time that you rolled your two 100s and you got a 69 and a 42.
Yeah, that's true.
You got the two sex numbers that time. Or 34 was the other one, sorry. Yeah, you got a 69 and a 34. Like, you just completely broke everything. So, all right. So, yeah, the sister's like, she actually pinches the bridge of her nose in front of you, closes her eyes, tilts her head down, and goes. And then she starts mumbling in Italian under her breath. And she's crossing herself, but with aggressive gestures, not the rehearsed ones, but the, like, really frustrated ones. And then she yells something in Italian to the two of them that are still in the room, and they proceed to immediately start, like, undoing his mask, like, you know, undoing the sack over his head, and they start taking off his gag. Like, he's not looking great, but you see the priest woman is casting a cure spell on him, and he's healing up in front of you, and well, he's a mess. Could you sober him up just because he's a problem? And so she's gesturing, like, of course, miss, of course. And you see her starting to try to cast a spell to sober him up, and she's gonna try to roll.
Really, once he gets this drunk, it's not really, like, you can try, but he's very stubborn.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed, but I've never seen this happen before. It seems like I can't. I can't. I don't know what to say. Like, he's.
That happens. I'm aware.
It's impossible for me to do this. This is beyond my ability. You're welcome to try. No, just take him down to the kitchen. Get him something foul to drink that'll wake him up or something. I don't know. This is over, and she, like, pulls out a pocket watch and looks at it and goes, "Oh, so, not long at all."
Is he unconscious?
So he's not unconscious, but he was slumped over before. Like, kind of in, like, the way that people slow down when they're past the wild and energetic drunk and they're more just in the, like, low energy state.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of in that. Although when she cured him a bit, that seemed to clean up, like, where he was smacked. Because, like, you saw him getting smacked before when he tried to poof up big. But he seems to be coming back together pretty quickly. Huh?
No, he's gonna walk up and just,
Literally
like,
outside.
hold out a hand to be like, "Come on, we're going back downstairs."
Oh, good. I think I left my drink there. He's.
Let me get you some water.
Come on, we're taking care of you. Let's
Water.
go. Just don't worry about it.
Could you freeze it and put it in something real?
We'll discuss this when we get back downstairs.
Come on, let's go.
You know, you're really short.
You know, I hear
He's talking
that
to Anise.
Oh no.
Anise is taller than he is.
Mm.
You hear that, Anise? You're short.
Come on, Jimmy. Let's go. Shut up and let's go.
All right. Whatever you say, Tinkerbell.
Mm. talking like that, and I'm gonna smack you.
Oh no, there's a rule. I heard all about that.
Like, come on, we're going.
All right, so you drag him
Yep.
north or south exit? North exit. All right, that's where all your friends are. So, yep, you drag him out.
I'm stuck in the door. There we go.
I'm just going to stick him over there. And then as Jameson is stepping out, pleasure doing business with you. As always, I appreciate the courtesy of people that respect a contract. I trust that in the future things will go smoothly. And yes, I'm walking away now. I'm walking away now. Yes, of course, miss, of course.
Penelope does a dramatic little hair toss as just over in Sister Sylvia's direction.
Don't forget who gave you the coin for that shroud. That's all I'm saying.
As you're doing this, you can see Nora is sort of like elbowing Lucretia and then pointing at this all playing out. And Lucretia's just like, I see. Well, I guess I'm glad they're at least right now on my side. And the Roombas are just sort of sitting there, entering rave mode behind you. It's weird because like the Roombas don't seem to record music, or like they don't record sound, but they're capable of making noise. And the little hover just sort of between them goes. Because your friend is a dork. Whether I'm referring to her or me is up to you.
We're gonna go with yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. All right. Well, there you go. You got some downstairs right here.
All right, we're going down those downstairs. Whee!
Okay.
Except I just ran into a wall.
That's because I didn't want you to break the way downstairs works.
But yeah. It's gonna Kool-Aid my way, or Kool-Aid man my way down the stairs. Oh yeah.
Oh no. She's leaving the Roombas up there outside the room.
Good.
All right. Give me a dexterity check to see how successfully you can pull him downstairs.
Dex check. Okay.
Between the two of you, you balance him out. Like, he's not dead weight. He just needs to be pointed.
We're gonna gently encourage him to sit his ass down in a chair.
Boop. There you go.
Hooray.
All right. So, yeah, you get him into a chair. Jameson's going to go get him some gratuitous quantities of water. Can you see how they do it now? I still don't understand it, though. Yeah, it's weird. It's people listen to them. It's like that thing you do, but honest. Well, that's uncalled for.
Penelope's just completely oblivious. Like, huh? What?
Be that as it may, we're running out of time. As far as I can tell, no one's pulling anything else here, so... Got about 10 minutes to go. I say we just sit down and enjoy the moment. Works for me.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Personally, just as long as I'm not followed around by that guy anymore, I'm fine. It's obnoxious.
I wonder if we ever... I don't remember. Did we ever wake him up?
Who?
You did.
Oh, Space Leo. We did?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because you verified everyone still had their coins.
Yeah.
That's right. Damn it.
Oh, but I think we intimidated him into just not being a creep.
That's true.
You did.
Yeah.
You intimidated him before the dance into not being a creep.
I love that we can just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it nice how it just takes like a good D20 roll to change someone?
Right.
That's how you know how important of an NPC they are. Like, if it's just one check, they're probably not that important.
Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
he'll be an ally later. That was my thought about literally everyone at the party, even the church.
I mean, there's still time. There's always choices.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jameson acquires a great deal of water. And also, he gives the ghost instructions for something that he saw in a movie once, and he doesn't know if it actually works or not, but he's getting like a ridiculous hangover cure that's probably disgusting. Involving eggs and all kinds of stuff that presumably, with access to an infinite kitchen like this, he could use less makeshift ingredients, but he just wants to see if it works.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. Here's your water, and here is your booze. Roll deception. That's a good one to roll big on. Oh shit, yeah, there we go. That tastes like egg and
It's good. Drink it.
You know what? You're all right.
That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Now, Jimmy, we understand that you will probably die if you actually sober up, but
I mean, that's not living, that's for sure.
So we won't.
Why
we
you
won't.
ask?
What?
What? Why are you in my business?
Well, we didn't want you to end up. We didn't want the church to like dissect you or put you in a prison somewhere or outright kill you.
That's nice of you.
I felt
Don't really have a lot of friends anymore, so you're good. You're all right.
Felt a little bit responsible because I did cast the hold person.
Now, in my defense, I got them drunk. And he points at Penelope, but like a foot over how tall she is. So that was on me. And I made that one take a nap, pointing at Nora. And I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything to you, did I? I'm not so bad.
Not directly.
Look, I get confused sometimes.
The alcohol?
Yeah. I do get confused when I don't have enough alcohol. I'm like, why am I doing this? But yeah, sometimes do you ever have dreams?
Sometimes, yeah.
Literally feel my intelligence level dropping the more I talk to this guy.
Because, like, when you dream, you're in faraway places, right? Like somewhere else.
Yeah, sure.
Well, sometimes I have a dream, and like I'm me, but I'm a different me, somewhere else, going about doing other stuff. And I wonder if that me is really out there, or if that's just a dream. And then I have my breakfast margarita.
You know? Sometimes you just have to have a breakfast margarita. It's fine.
We call that breakfast.
No, that's a breakfast margarita specifically.
Yeah, it's the margarita you have at breakfast.
Margarita you have at breakfast.
I do. Hey, it's almost breakfast time, everybody. Let's get margaritas.
I'll pass. I'll just have normal breakfast.
Sips or coffee.
He's like this a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
I feel bad for him, but it happens.
Yeah. Well, at least he's not filet mignon upstairs, so.
That would be unfortunate. He's a bit of an endangered species, as it happens.
They would have eaten him. Church eat.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
I'm fairly certain they would have turned his bones into ammunition for some kind of vampire killing weapon or something.
Probably.
It's weird how many things they do that with. It's like they think vampires are the only problem out there. Though they will probably also be involved in future events. They always find a way. It's built into the rituals, so at least one of them will be. We'll have to figure out who to get for that. Maybe not this one, though. She seems a bit too stuffy for me.
Is this Sylvia?
Yeah, she's a little too aware of what's going on. But as I understand it, the last 2 practitioners are dead or missing, so I have to find someone. I'll let someone else handle that part. They're not my people.
Yeah.
And with that, is there anything else the two of you would like to do before this event wraps up?
I need to probably go get Hemlock.
I need contact info for people. But not really.
Fair enough. Well, at the start of the next session, what we're going to do is we're going to have the actual, like, loop-in closing remarks, and then you're going to get your items, assuming nothing else happens.
Yep.
And this will also be your opportunity to talk to anyone else you want to talk to on the way out. Now, in terms of where the story goes after this, you've obviously got at least one connection to a Grail war now, if not 2. You have a kimono to return to Germany, hopefully. You've got Vivi coming to visit you while you're still in Paris, like later today. Next week, there's a meeting occurring in Sherwood that you just got a lot more information to share.
Yeah.
Between Anise and Nora, there's a lot to be said there. Because you're probably going to fill in some gaps that they have. So that's nice. And there's still some loose ends with some of the NPCs that you've met here if you wish to follow up on those.
We could also go to Fuyuki.
And you could.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
We could.
No.
Hey, I have the map sword if you want to. I don't know that you do, but it's there.
Tell you right now, I do not.
Just saying, I have the mechanics for dealing with Mato bugs.
No.
Yeah, let's not go to Fuyuki.
Like, if you thought Penelope was bad dealing with
There are
bugs,
multiple subclasses that have rules for swarms. I didn't know that.
Rose.
You can't see the face I made.
Yeah.
Can.
The swarm
Rose.
ranges are actually really cool if you just don't use bugs as the swarm. Just have like a bunch of chipmunks show up. It works the same way. You can literally just be the crazy cat lady with a million cats and like it works.
Oh man, don't tempt me.
Like if I ever have to play a ranger for some reason, I'm probably going to do that and I'm just going to pick some animal. And it's just going to be funny. I don't even know what. Maybe squirrels.
Oh my
Just
God.
actually make Squirrel Girl.
Swarm of chipmunks.
Oh. Ugh.
But yeah, so you'll have a few opportunities there. Like as mentioned, you've obviously got some stuff to wrap up in Paris before you go, and you'll get opportunities to exchange contact info with people if you wish. Just as a recap of some of the extra hooks you have lying around, technically there's still a missing Goliath.
That's true.
Yeah.
You have to collect the crest to hand it over, technically. Because he's not actually a guest. So
Well, no, 'cause
you gave him the coin, but like you kind of have to
He's
collect it for him.
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Like giving him the coin was your sign that you expect him to have it, but like the loophole of it is it's literally going to be handed to you and you're going to hand it to him.
Gotcha.
So you're going to have to deal with him at least one more time.
Yeah.
You've got a whole bunch of items that you don't know what they are that you're about to inherit. So that's going to be
Yep.
fun. Like, maybe when you visit Kwaku, he can figure some of that out for you, or you can do something here if you want.
We show up at Germany. We go, here's your kimono. Also, just dumps a pile of stuff.
Have fun.
Oh, good. In the meantime, I built a child.
Yeah, that's nice. What the fuck is this card?
Oh no. Hello, how are you? I have built a gremlin. It's fine. Oh, jeez.
Well, except right now it's only been 2 weeks, so he's built half of one.
But wait, is it just like a pair of legs? What's going on?
Is it like the whole right side, or? Did he
It's
start-
mostly a torso and a head.
I was about to say, did he start from the head and work down?
Well, he has to start from the core in the middle.
Oh.
And then he has to build the head, because that's how you make the basic functionality. Like, limbs are comparatively simpler. But also, like, he has multiple side projects going, like, Raps 2.0.
Yeah.
Because Raps will finally have mechanical backbone for the ability to be healed and do stuff other than just power through like a tank and hope he doesn't die.
Oh, Anise is gonna have to go back to her place in London before they go to Sherwood.
Yep. So I figure you can wrap up any events that you want to do in Paris. Then you can head to either Germany now, or you can take all this stuff with you to London and then Sherwood, and then go to Germany in 2 weeks when you expect to find a golem child. It's kind of up to you. If you decide to go Goliath hunting, that's an entire side quest that's optional, but it's available. Just tracking down the underground chain of Chinese food monster nonsense. You got all kinds of options. So just something to think about between now and next session.
Alright, just double checking to make sure I wrote them all down. The missing Goliath. Going back to Germany. Handing off the crest. The fancy druid meeting. Vivi showing up. I think that was all of them.
Technically, you have to figure out what you're going to do with Johnny. Because she's going to follow you around.
Oh, true.
Oh no.
Like, she's not going to lose sight of you. So, or at least that's her plan. Whether or not that's how it works out is kind of up to you. But
and then there's John. Okay. Oh no, we're gonna have a shining moment, aren't we? We think we've lost her, and then she just pops up out of nowhere, kicks down the door. Here's Johnny.
I challenge you to a music duel. Only more southern.
I challenge you to a music duel. Yeah.
Well, now I reckon it's been about 6 hours. I think I'm ready to take you on.
Oh my god.
What?
I need
Okay.
to sleep.
What if you gave me the fiddle and then I dueled her and lost because I can't fucking play fiddles or any musical instrument?
I mean, I guess.
You're welcome to try.
That count? Would she count that? No, I think she has to beat you.
I have no idea how this works. I just gotta
Duel her
fiddle.
with like an instrument you're trying to learn but haven't mastered yet.
Oh, challenge her on the kazoo. I've mastered the kazoo, but I'm challenge her on.
Just pick an instrument that you're not proficient with.
Yeah.
You could have dueling pianos, and it could turn into Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Just like have a duck fight.
Oh no. I'd be like, here, I will challenge you on the dulcimer.
The automaton.
The automaton.
Now, keeping in mind, it's 2005, you could technically challenge her to DDR.
Oh my god.
Is that a I guess that's a performance?
It'd be a performance check.
I don't know what that was just now that I
I'm
tried
like,
to
what
say.
the hell kind of an accent was that?
I can judge no one because I have so many NPCs that a lot of their voices blur.
Oh, jeez.
And I guess technically, if you're trying to keep up with your minor threads, at some point in the near future, Crosby is going to be taking a dinosaur head, or taking his daughter to a dinosaur head and doing his nonsense.
That's true.
In case you also want to hear what a dinosaur would have to say.
I mean, I do want to know what a dinosaur would have. Oof.
There's all kinds of stuff, and you don't have to do all of it, and you certainly don't have to do it necessarily right now. But
Yeah.
you have several options. There are a number of other NPCs who have like some minor hooks going as well. If you want to think back over all of them, there's a few things, but they're not quite as prescient.
True.
So,
Like after the party, should we just like fucking ambush Magnanimous, or neither of us can cast Modify Memory? Darn.
No.
Like, should we just like ambush him and be like, we're just gonna modify your memory so that you never found out about actual real ass magic? But no.
I mean, you got a guy from Policies who could probably help you with that.
Lord.
Also, if it doesn't work, he's the last person you should tell.
That's true.
We got options.
Make yourself.
Yep, you got some stuff to think about. So that'll be a fun thing to float around in your mind until the next session. And also, I'm looking forward to dropping all these items in your inventory and seeing what you do with them. Because you don't know what most of them do.
Throw
Well,
the
I know
grenades.
I know what the envelope does.
That's true. He told you that.
Turns this D&D game into a heist.
Oh, jeez.
Look, if you decide that you want to have a certain catalyst, there you go.
That's true.
That's kind of your carte blanche if you decide that you want a specific servant. And you can find them, then you've got at least one guy to help you get it.
Hang on to that envelope. Ugh. Shelly. We're gonna summon Shelly. She's the... yeah.
Berserker.
Yep. Nah, she'd be a ruler class too, I think.
Claws out.
Nah, she'd be a berserker. Like 100%.
I just appreciate the fact that we're only doing the main 7, and then you have the option of doing Avenger or Ruler, and we're ignoring all of the other ones.
Yep.
Like, I have the rules from the Nat 19 book for how to make a shielder, and we're not doing that, because...
It's just
no.
mash. Smash you.
Yeah, canonically, there are only, like, 2.
Hmm.
So, like... It's Mash, and it's Mash's, like, actual... Like, the servant that she's channeling as a demi-servant, I think, are it. Like, if we were to expand it to other, like, famous shield users, it gets weird.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably make the argument that, the shield from Greek mythology that has Medusa's head, the Aegis, would count, but I think everyone who wields the Aegis is a god, so you can't really summon them. But then again, Medusa is capable of riding on the thing that popped out of her neck when her head was cut off, so, like, fate's dumb. I don't know what to tell you. By that rationale, technically Orochi would be a saber because it has a sword in it. So, you know what? Why not?
Well, Martha's noble phantasm is Tarrasque, right?
The Trask, yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that her noble phantasm is the Trask, but if you have the summer version of her, she's like a Fist of the North Star JoJo version of herself. And her noble phantasm is still summoning the Tarrasque and just punching the Tarrasque into people.
Yep. That checks out.
Martha's a lot of fun, though. She's a ruler as well. Well, thanks for sticking with us, anybody on the internet watching this. Especially you, person who had to get banned from the chat. You know what you did, bot. It's nice that
Oh,
bots are at least finding us and upping the numbers a little bit.
Mm.
How kind. But yeah, so next week we will definitively wrap up the mansion arc.
Okay.
We did it. We have spent half the game in the mansion arc.
Yep.
Lord.
You've spent more time in Paris than you did in Germany.
Ugh.
But I also feel like the sessions have probably been a little bit more memorable than like, and then we found another statue in the woods. So hopefully the game is still fun times.
Yeah.
And now you have a bunch of NPCs to get in touch with and get in contact with if you need to. Reach out to if you need a favor, or just run away from because they annoy the shit out of you.
Yep.
Good times. So, good night, the internet. We will talk to you in the future.
Yeah.